Welcome to GrowthCon Momentum, the summer series. We are so grateful that all of you have taken time out of your busy schedule to come and join with us for this GrowthCon. This was a vision of ours. I have the opportunity, Howard and I and Janelle, being in the industry that we're in, we deal with so many amazing business owners and industry leaders. And for us to be able to know these people and experience their wealth of knowledge on a daily basis, it's something that we've grown to really appreciate. And so the idea came about to start tapping some of these professionals to pour into you all, the real estate agents across the country. And necessarily, not everybody's able to travel to these different events. And so what we've done is almost like speed dating with pros. Like each session is going to be about 15 minutes. And these sessions have with the focus helping you have momentum. Momentum is incredibly hard as a business owner, and it's even more difficult to maintain momentum. And so we want you to take the measure of success that you've enjoyed this summer, and we want you to ride that into the rest of the year. And we thought, what better way to do that than to have some of these people pour into your businesses. So let's quickly share a video. If Michelle, if you could share a video from the Realtor in Residence, my friend Janelle, Howard's friend, Tiffany Gelzinis, on momentum to kick off this session.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to GrowthCon. The folks at Ylopo have done an amazing job of putting together a great day full of great content for you to enjoy today. But before we get started building this roadmap to dominate your Q4, let's talk about something a little more high level. This is something that could make or break the rest of your year. We're talking about fueling your forward motion. So what is forward motion? Forward motion is about direction. It's about purpose, and it's about consistent acceleration. But to consistently accelerate and move forward, you have to have fuel. So what is that fuel? That fuel, in my opinion, is innovation, technology, and measured actions. So what do I mean by that? Innovation. A lot of times people think of innovation as technology, but innovation is actually mindset. Are you just measuring up to the status quo, or are you thinking outside of the box? Are you doing the same thing you've always done, or are you looking for a different way to do it? Because let me tell you what, your competition is innovating. So are you. What about technology? Are you using the technology that you have available for you? Technology should accelerate and enhance your growth. It should amplify your efforts and give you a competitive advantage. Are you using the cues that you have with behavioral indicators, the tags that Ylopo provides? Are you using analytics to figure out how to create efficiencies? Have you incorporated AI both with text and voice into your business? What about automation? Dig into that technology so that you can figure out what to do to improve your business. And finally, measured action. What is measured action? Well, let me tell you what. If you aren't looking at what's happening in your business every day, if you aren't measuring what's moving your business, then your business isn't moving. You need momentum. And to gain momentum, you have to pay attention to your metrics. So look at those KPIs. Pay attention to what's happening in your funnel. So with those things in mind, are you building a business that has forward motion? Are you building a business that is getting you to the next level, or are you just going to stay stagnant? Innovation, technology, and measured action, those are the fuel. That is the fuel that will take you to that next level. I really hope that you enjoy this day and you get so much out of it. Have a great day. This is Tiffany Gelzinis, the Realtor in Residence for Follow Up Boss and the team leader for the Gelzinis Group out of Virginia Beach.
Love that. Love that. And I put a question in the comments, yes or no, are you blocking off time for your technology? So our next speaker needs no introduction. Founder of LPT, Robert Palmer. And when I was going through the list of speakers, one of the things that I was looking for are people that are building businesses, supporting real estate agents across the country. And I had a chance to listen to Robert say a few things in Florida about momentum, about the market. And so I asked him to take some time to dive in and speak on this topic. You guys are in for a treat because I've heard him talk about some of this already. And Robert, we're excited to have you here, buddy.
Yeah, I am good now. My mic is working. I've had this weird thing, Barry, where my laptop, like randomly, I have to restart to get Zoom to work. But I'm
Weird.
here. I'm excited. Appreciate the invite, and yeah, really excited to talk about growth and momentum. And look, we're in this terrible bust that we've been in, 4 million annualized home sales, and what's the silver lining? Some of the biggest businesses have been built in busts, and that's really what I want us to get into. It's something I'm passionate about, is making sure that all the agents I meet, all the amazing entrepreneurs, whether they're building a team, building a solo agent business, that they understand that this is the time to take territory, to take market share. This is the time to grow and add agent count. This is the time to push forward when everyone else is pulling back. And for agents who are doing that and teams that are doing that, we are seeing them win at a massive level right now. And I know it's something you talk a lot about, Barry, and like, we're going to make this market what it is. We're going to respect the fact that we are at 4 million annualized home sales, and that's not a great place, but how do we capitalize on that? How do we make sure we're using our momentum, our resources, our special something that makes us who we are as a way to win in any market?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of us kind of romanticize success to where we think that it's easy
Yeah.
because we see the stories at the end, right?
Yeah, man. So I think kind of two things I live by. One we're going to talk about today is this idea of when we're in a boom, we should be preparing for the next bust. And we're going to talk about that because we see a lot of companies and agents and teams when we had that boom of 2020 and 2021 driven by the pandemic, driven by all of these consumers pulling the decision to buy or sell a home forward so they could take advantage of those historic interest rates. When we were in that boom, a lot of people made some bad choices. They didn't set their business up to be resilient. They didn't prepare for the coming bust. And I promise you, for every period of time where we have 7 million home sales and we have this booming market where it feels like no one can do any wrong, there's a bust coming. Like, there is a cycle on the other side of that. And the businesses and the team leaders and the agents who were preparing and had that in the view didn't think, hey, we've got it figured out. We're untouchable. Everything we do works right now. It's going to work forever. They're now in the best positions to survive and thrive in the bust. So now we find ourselves in a bust. 4 million annualized home sales. I think this year may actually be a little below that, because last year we had a pretty good first half of the year. We didn't see that from a transaction count this year as an industry. And it's the teams and the leaders and the agents and the companies who are right now preparing on how do we focus for that next boom, because it will come. Because while we've gotten through that big wave of all the consumers who should have bought or sold in 2022 and 2023, but they did it in 2020 and 2021, we've survived that. And now we're dealing with all the consumers, or a lot of them, who should have bought or sold in 24 and 25 are now pushing it out. They're saying, hey, I'm going to wait. The rates will get better. Something's going to be better in the future. What that means is all of that extra demand, those extra 1.5 million consumers a year who should be buying and selling and aren't, they're pushing it out as long as they can. But guess what? There's an end to that. There's a limit to the elasticity of that. This spring is coiled up, and we're going to see an explosion somewhere here in the near future. So what are you doing in your business today to prepare for that moment? Something big we want to talk about. And then more importantly, when we ride that wave, when we hit that next boom, make sure you're thinking about the next bust, because we're always one cycle away. And durable companies, folks that are building teams and careers that can last and thrive in any market, are always thinking about that in the back of their mind. Are the things I'm doing today that may work wonderfully in a boom, will they work in the next bust? And on the flip side, if it's working for you right now in the bust, let's double down and get ready for the boom, because you have something special in your business if you are thriving right now when a lot of folks are not.
Yeah, I think that's actually as you're talking, I think it requires a degree of awareness around what's going on. Howard, you've experienced this in your business as well. The several businesses you've started, preparing when things are up, they're up. When they're down, they're down. And
I mean, look,
figuring out.
I built Tiger Lead Solutions. If I had known the Great Recession was coming, like in the first 2 years that I was going to start a prop tech company, I probably would never have started it. And that would have been, to Robert's point, that would have been a mistake,
Mhm.
because that was a great journey. It was amazing. It's what led to Ylopo and Maverick, and I wouldn't be here in this room today, because I just would have been fearful, right? And you go back to Warren Buffett. People like Warren Buffett and Robert Palmer are in another league, right? Because they are not going with the herd. They're counter thinkers, which puts them in rare air. And it's a cliche and everyone's heard it, but when people get, and I've lived by it, right? When people get greedy, it's time to be fearful. And when people are fearful, it's time to be greedy. And it was a little bit late when I saw it coming in the Great Recession. But at one point, I woke up in the middle of the night in a sweat, and I wasn't really that wealthy at the time. I had like $16 million of real estate debt. And I was like, I can't cover that, right? So I started selling everything, but I got caught, right? But anyway, so I think Robert's right on it. And, Barry, you and I listened to Robert at a very special mastermind down in Florida, and he told his journey. I wish we should actually bring him back at some point for a great motivational session to tell that journey, because it's super inspirational. But I'm telling you what we've been doing for the last 3 years, which is what Robert's doing, building during the bust. When everyone else is hunkered down, Robert's competitors are hunkered down, my competitors are hunkered down. We've launched Maverick. We are going crazy in AI. We're doing more AI messages than anyone quietly in the industry, and it's costing us a shitload of money, right? And when all of our clients are hunkered down, guess what? That affects us drastically. It's not like we're not hurting. We get hurt from thousands of clients that aren't spending, right? But I see it the way Robert has been teaching it, which is now is the time to gain market share, because what comes up goes down, what goes down goes up, and it's exactly what we're going to see. And mortgage rates are going to settle down. Seller lock is going to dissipate every single quarter. More people just have to move, right? Inventory's going up. There's going to be a lot more transactions. And, Robert, because he's looking around the corner, is going to be sitting pretty.
So
we purposely launched LPT into the bust. We were ready to go. I waited on the model. I said, hey, as soon as the Fed says they're going to start raising rates, that's the time to hit go. I don't want to build a business that only works in a 7 million annual home sales market. The agents don't need what we have as much in those boom markets. Like, let's launch in the bust. And, last year we were the 10th largest brokerage in the US by transaction count. Based on our growth this year, I think we're number 7 right now, creeping up on number 6. And again, it's from coming into this bust. And so how do team leaders, how do agents, use that? And I think the next class of mega teams, the biggest teams in the country, those that are growing right now, like, this is the time to forge. A lot of agents are suffering right now. If you have found success in this market, it's time to capitalize and double down. We saw a record number of agents not renew with the realtor boards at that kind of mid-year cutoff in a lot of the states that we monitor. And so people are hurting right now. And so if you do have something, if you have that database that's working for you, you have that lead source, you have that sphere, you have those past clients, now's the time to think about maybe creating that team, bringing people on with you, or if you have a team, growing it, because the agents that are hurting right now, the agents who are not closing but 1 or 2 deals a year, even 0 deals right now because of how tough the market is, this is the time you can grab them. This is the time you can reach out. You can be that lifeline to help them find what we call their individual definition of success and understand where they are and where they're trying to go. And right now, the bar for that success is the lowest it's been in a long time. It's really hard to get agents to join a team or be a showing assistant or work with you when we're at a 7 million home sales market and everyone's winning. Right now, people are looking for help. They're looking for their next opportunity. And so smart agents right now, they have their head up and they're capitalizing on this. They're bringing on team members. They're bringing on showing assistants. They're bringing on help because everyone else is going the other direction. And this is it. Like, this is the time when the next titans of our industry are being forged, and they're doing it quietly in the bust. And then when the boom happens, it's like, where'd they come from? Everyone thinks they appeared out of nowhere. People look at us like, oh, overnight success. How did this happen? A lot of hard work in the bust is what leads to that success in the boom. So if that's you, if you're someone who's finding success right now, now is a time to double down. If you're struggling in this market, now may be the time to link up with someone else, right? What can we do to survive? How do we stay in the game? This is a game of last person standing. When the market finally rebounds, when we do see this massive explosion of transactions, which is going to come, it's almost statistically impossible now for as long as we've been waiting. We don't know when it's going to happen, but every day we get one step closer, and you need to be in position to take advantage of that. Can your team handle a doubling of business overnight? Can your single agent business handle a doubling overnight? That is coming. If you're winning today, the level of winning only gets bigger, and you need to take steps right now to double down on getting involved with your sphere, staying in touch with your farms, doing all the hard things that are not going to produce any income for us until 6 months from now because of the market and the timing and how long consumers are taking to make decisions, and doubling down on technologies like Ylopo and your follow-up, because when it turns, the folks that did the right things during this bust are going to benefit from this boom in a way that I think will be even bigger than what we saw during the pandemic, because we are going to have less competition. The pandemic came on the heel of some okay years. We're now seeing terrible years. People are giving up. They're leaving the industry. Those of us that are left standing, and I'm going to be here with you guys, we're going to be one of them. Those of us that are left standing are going to celebrate together and win at a massive way when this thing turns around, and it is coming.
So,
Robert,
right. So I
really
want to ask
quick,
a
because
question.
you're absolutely a futurist and a visionary. Anything else that you can sort of share with the community about any changes you see that will affect the life of a solo agent, a small team, a mid-sized team leader? In other words, like, for example, like, we really saw the rise of teams and team leaders, right? And we saw the EXP model and the real model and the LPT model. And so there's, and we see what's going on with the portals at the very top. So are there any sort of things you see as you're looking around the corner that our community here on this call can drive some, like, oh, shoot, Robert says that's coming, here's what I can do? It's a tough question to put you on the spot, but
look, I think while the rise of the team is already being documented, I think it is just on its beginning upswing. I mean, as we look at the macro environment, the legacy franchise models are going to continue to suffer. Statistically, data-wise, they're not growing. Most of them have stalled. I think the biggest failing of the franchise model is, it's not a meritocracy. It's not based on who's performing today. It's based on who bought that territory once upon a time. And so we're seeing through a few cycles now where, hey, the person who owns the franchise of that great brand in my market, maybe they're unplugged. Maybe they have the wrong leadership in place. And the problem is no one can rise up and take their place because they own that territory. And so now where we think the world is going and what we're seeing is the rise of the team is going to, in a lot of ways, replace that legacy franchise layer. And teams have to earn it every day. Teams have to stay sharp. Teams don't own a territory. They don't have the protections of a franchise agreement that says, hey, this is your sandbox. No one can compete with you under this brand in there. So teams have to earn it each and every day. But I think as we see, and we're seeing this right now, as legacy franchises continue to kind of dwindle and see less growth and see the stalling, the teams are coming in and replacing they're replacing that dynamic. The teams are going out and opening their own offices. Like, I think massive opportunity right now for team leaders to go open their own team headquarters. We're doing a lot of seminars on this. We're doing a lot of training around this. What does it look like for a team leader to own their own office, to run their own office, to truly kind of come into the vacuum and the void that's being filled by the declining franchise layer? And so you've got the cloud brokerages that are operationalizing things like payments and compliance and marketing and technology at scale, but there is this need for that local end market leader who has brick and mortar, who can provide leads, who can provide guidance, and the team is becoming that spot. And so if you look at the landscape, you look at how many agents and how many transactions are still being closed in franchise models that aren't growing, that are receding, all of that business, I think, ultimately gets replaced by teams filling that gap, then being supported by cloud brokerages at the operational level. And that's where I think we're going. And so if you understand where the puck is going, you can skate to it, and you can understand how you build a business that is in a position to take advantage of those dynamics. Building a team, having a team headquarters, signing that lease, getting out of your parents' basement if you're trying to run your team out of your brokerage's office. Like, that's how I equate it. Like, hey, you're housed, you're okay, you're living in your parents' basement, life feels good, but you don't make your own rules. You can't set it. You can't grow as much as possible. So the bold teams today are setting up an office, they're setting up shop, and they're positioning themselves to catch that wave of growth that is coming from this natural dynamic in an industry shift away from legacy franchising. franchising. And look, I understand why franchising was important 20 or 30 years ago. Data wasn't as ubiquitous as it is. The internet wasn't here. Forms weren't there. We didn't have technologies like Ylopos and Skyslopes and dot loops. And you bring all that together, and we are seeing the rise of a new construct. And I think it is this combination of the cloud brokerage supporting teams, and then that gives agents that maximum level of support to achieve their individual definition of success and win in any market.
Yeah, you know, Tom Ferry told me a long time ago. He said agents, and it probably goes for loan officers as well. And Robert, you have massive experience in the mortgage business, but whether you're an LO or an agent, they really don't want leads. You know, which was tough to hear for me, like, you know, 5 years ago when we're like massive lead generating millions of leads. They really don't want leads. They want appointments. Yeah. Right. They want inbound hot transfers, right? They want down funnel activity that they can see where consumers saying, I want to go see this home, or I want information on this home, or blah, blah, blah. And I think that's what we've been on a journey as a technology company. We've been on that journey to get to that point, which is we're finally there, you know, with AI, yep, where we really understand that. Last question for you. I know we're running short, and man, yeah, we can do this for hours with you. How should an agent, small team leader, mid-level team leader, whatever, you know, think about ancillary? Should they not be thinking about ancillary? Should they be thinking about ancillary? Should they just be focused on their production? What's your advice there? Because there's a lot of people feeding at that trough, right?
Yeah, look, no, I think ancillaries is a local decision, you know, so like we made a decision. We don't play in that space. I'm a 20-year mortgage guy. We don't cross-pollinate any mortgages inside of our brokerage. I think it's a local decision. That local team leader, that local agent, like no mortgage company has the best loan officer in every market. You know, no mortgage company has the right product to serve every market. And again, it took a 20-year mortgage guy to say, hey, I'm getting in the brokerage space and we're not going to monetize ancillaries. We want our local partners. We want the team leaders and the local agents to either be involved with those ancillaries or pick the absolute best local partner who's going to sit that open house with you. You know, once upon a time when I was a loan officer, I drove like an hour to get a well test done. I drove in the middle of nowhere to collect a water sample myself so I could take it to the lab and we could close on time. You know, find that local partner who's going to do things like that to help you win. Or if you're a team leader and you get enough scale, look at the JV, look at owning your own mortgage brokerage, look at owning your own title company or title JV. But my belief is that is a local level decision. And if you look at any of the bigger cloud entities or franchise companies who have tried to play in that space, most have failed. This is about empowering local agents, you know. And I think to your other point, Howard, this idea of like people don't want leads anymore, they want appointments. I think some of that is our fault as an industry. It was so easy to generate a quote unquote lead for some window of time in there. And we have this weird dynamic in real estate where there are people who just love to look at houses all day, right? They like to log onto a website and they like to look at houses. And I picture this person sitting in their basement and like somewhere where it's cold, and their enjoyment every day is just scrolling through and looking at houses.
Great SNL skit called, it was like Zillow porn, right? It was like,
yeah, that's it. You know.
Yeah.
And then the problem is that like Google knows who those people are. So if you tell Google like, hey, I want to generate some cheap leads, like they know the person sitting in their basement who will fill out any web form, and then you get caught in this like cheap lead cycle. And so I think what we've got to do as an industry is we have to elevate the definition of lead. Like we use this internal term called a Mickey, a motivated individual with correct contact information. Do you have motivation? Do you have correct contact information? Because there's leads with correct contact information and no motivation. You can have motivation and no contact information, but we kind of did it to ourselves because it was so easy when Facebook lead forms first came out. And again, the person doom scrolling homes in their basement in the winter will fill out a form, and then Google and the algorithm knows who those heavy form fillers are. And so we get in this cycle of the low quality leads just get lower and lower and lower quality. And now what you guys are doing with using AI, we just have to reset the term. We have to reset the framing of what is a quality lead, what is worthy of an agent's time, because, you know, the agent has to invest time. They've got to talk to these people. They've got to follow up. They've got to nurture. And if we're giving them hundreds of opportunities, which are maybe the equivalent of the phone book because none of them are actually motivated, we're doing everyone a disservice. And I think we're finally at a technology point in the industry where we can focus on not just surfacing leads, not just surfacing low quality form fillers. How do we actually surface folks who are interested and motivated to buy or sell real estate and have given you correct contact information? And the use of AI and all the things you guys are focused on, like that is a critical bridge for our industry, because as long as we keep pumping out low quality quality leads, we're never going to have a leads problem. We're going to have a massive conversion problem, but it actually starts with the quality of the lead, the motivation of the individual, the dynamics under which that lead was marketed to and sourced. And so I love where technology and where you guys are taking it, because that is where we have to go as an industry.
All right.
There
So
was
look,
a time,
we're actually over
there was a
time.
time where oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we're actually over time.
Okay.
But actually listening to the two of you talk, I'm watching the comments, and my opinion, we probably need to do a roundtable, like a CEO roundtable interview.
Yeah.
This was just fascinating. What I want you guys in the chat, I want you to put one takeaway. I know several of you had several. I know people are saying, I needed to hear all of this again. We need a roundtable. This was spot on. So Mickey, I need that again. That's hilarious.
We need Robert.
MICCI, motivated individual, correct contact information.
Yeah.
MICCI, Mickey.
Yeah. So put in the chat one takeaway from this conversation. Robert, we appreciate the time today. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us. It was fascinating. And we do need to get ready for our next speaker. Before we do that, we do have a short commercial. And Robert, if you want to just check, a lot of these comments are just letting people, they're letting you know what they took away from your chat. So I am going to share my screen. G is traveling. He was supposed to have landed by now, but he unfortunately has not. So I'm going to share my screen. That is my email. It's never ideal. All right,
want to share your screen yet? But like crazy how thoughtful Robert is. Like he had a massive mortgage company, but he understands the business so much. He's like, yep, we're not going to jam ancillary mortgages down our entire ecosystem throat because it's local. Real estate is local, which is why the local LO, the local real estate agent, in my opinion, will never be disintermediated. Absolutely. And you're spot on as well. There were so many lead gen companies that were literally saying, oh, we can just get a cell phone number. And that's a lead, right? That's not a lead, right? That's like someone doing the Zillow, like home search porn, right? We're asking a dozen questions up front in the funnel. We're looking at everything they do 24/7, and we're getting all that down funnel stuff. And then AI is just communicating with them, trying to get a hot transfer to the agent. So spot on, as always, Robert. Thank you so much.
I just love that I'm trying to do a commercial for your company and you are still talking shop. That just shows dedication that you have for the freaking industry. I love that.
All right, I'll shut up. I'll put myself on mute.
All right, so really quick, I wanted G to do this, but basically Ylopo is able to take still photos of your listing. So you hire a photographer and the photographer takes your 30 or 50 photos. They're able to upload those with just putting an MLS number. And then what they're able to do is they're able to turn it into a 3D tour with just still photos. So here's a quick video. Let me zoom in. This is no input from the agent. Still photos, and they turn it into a video walkthrough. The cost is only $99, not just for the video, but for also the Facebook ad. And I'm going to show you the number of leads that it's able to convert and the attention that it's able to get. But as you can see, it does not look like a still photo. It looks like a walkthrough. So let me pan out because we are short on time. Your sellers, we created this document to keep your seller from saying you're not doing a good job. So when you run this $99 3D walkthrough ad, they're going to see the people that saw the ad, people who watched the video, people who clicked the video, and then the number of people that registered. And you're going to have that report after you spend the $99. We noticed that when you do the 3D tour, you have 3x the number of clicks, 2x the higher conversion. Here's an example for 95. I said 99, but it's $95. On average, 4,000 people are going to see that 3D tour. 1,500 people are actually going to view the video, 300 clicks. Now, you're going to take that activity, go to the seller with that marketing report and say, look what I did for you, Mr. Seller. I got exposure for your listings. And I happen to have 5 people that registered for this listing. As a result of that, I am going to call them on your behalf. So that's a Diva 3D tour. If you do want information for that, we're going to put all of these again, but you can get that QR code right there. That QR code is actually going to lead you to some more information about the 3D tour from Ylopo. That's $95. That includes the Facebook ad, which is going to generate those leads.
It's a crazy piece of tech. All you do is put an MLS number. Just put an MLS number, like right. That's it. And it's going to be totally narrated. Like no one has to show up with a Matterport camera. You know, like I asked Barry a long time ago, how much does it cost you to send a guy in with like the Matterport? And he's like, it's like $1,500 or whatever. So no one's spending $700 or $1,000 or $500 or whatever it is to bring the guy in, do the video. But it's going to be like just put in your MLS number. It's automatically full on. Looks like a Matterport tour, fully narrated. It'll even find using AI. It'll even find stuff in the picture that's not even in the description, and it'll talk about the thing that's there. It's pretty crazy. But the fact that you actually can use it to generate interest and leads is the thing you're leaning into when you're making that listing presentation. You're the only one that's going to have it, and
Right.
that's 100. You should win 100% of your listing presentations by having that and other tools.
All right. So we do have to introduce our next speaker. Thanks, Robert.
Yeah, buddy.
So David Childers is the president of Keeping Current Matters. If you don't know who Keeping Current Matters is, I'm over a decade, probably 13 years, a customer of Keeping Current Matters. They take all the confusing things about the market and they teach you how to talk to the client. David happens to have the unique position of teaching the teachers. And we are just so fortunate to have a few minutes of your time today, David. And I'd love for you to talk to us a little bit about how the market is.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity, and great to join and see everybody today. So grateful for that. And let's spend maybe a few minutes and talk about this market. You know, it's I've gotten a chance over the last couple of weeks to share different events or webinars about the market, and there's three things that I think are happening right now. Inventory is rising, it's having an effect on price, and listings are expiring. That's what's happening. And maybe for the next few minutes, I'm going to break that down to give you sort of the confidence to say, here is what's happening. Now, you always want to apply your local market scenario. You can go in KCM and grab local information, but if you understand what's happening in the national market, you can compare it to your market, then you certainly can show up as the expert. So I'll take maybe 15 minutes or so and break that down. And I pulled this quote here. I'm going to share this real quick. It's this quote from Seth Godin. He said, "People don't believe what you tell them. They always believe what they tell themselves." And I think we have a lot of people in our business. We work in a business that everybody, I will guarantee you this, everybody has an opinion, right? People in our business have an opinion. People outside of our business have an opinion. People that own homes have an opinion. People that don't own homes have an opinion. And so they tell themselves what they think about this market. And it oftentimes comes from something maybe they read or a headline they saw or something like that. But we need to be the expert. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to an agent. She said, one of the first questions I ask a seller is, has someone taken the time to educate you on what's happening in this market? And she said 9 times out of 10, the seller will say no. Right. So how amazing is that? If we get, by the way, I love the idea of a Mickey, right? If we get somebody who is motivated, we've got their information, we get a chance to talk to them. Have they been educated on what's happening in the market, or they believe what they've told themselves? But let's kind of break this down real quick, because I want to show you a couple of interesting things about this. Pull your phone out. You can take pictures of these. Obviously, I'm going to show you, I'm going to give them all to you so you can use them. But this is from realtor.com, goes all the way back to January of 23. And this is active listings in this country. Okay. What do you notice there? We're growing, like statement of the obvious, right? I think everybody knows this, but why just tell someone when you could show them? And you can say, this is the reality of the real estate market. Certainly use your local market information, or you may have heard on the news that the inventory is growing, but I highlighted the last 3 green bars. May, June, and July of this year, 3 consecutive months where active inventory in this country has been over 1 million units. That's important, because that has not happened for the last 5 years, right? If I were to graph it for you, and our team at KCM does such a phenomenal job of that, here's what this looks like. And you see the white line there. This is active listings as they come to market each year, sort of the seasonality of it, going all the way back to 2017, the white bar being this year. But if I highlight the red bar there, that's 2020. Okay, and so we know the story of real estate. Pandemic comes in. Let's hope we never go back there again, right? Mortgage rates fall, everybody jumps in, we deplete inventory, and these colored bars, if you can see my arrow, my cursor there, are 21, 22, 23, and 24, the years following the pandemic. And here we come back, largely due to the rise in mortgage rates. We know that, right? It slowed the velocity of business. And then up here in these grayer bars, that's 2017, 2018, and 2019, what I like to call the last 3 normal years in real estate. But listen, if we keep this trend up, and I believe we will end this year, right? You can see it right there, right where we ended 17, 18, and 19. The reason I tell you this is because it's a very clear picture of a 5-year cycle in real estate of inventory depletion and inventory coming back. Okay, you sort of visually, you just see it right there, right? This is due to a number of different things, but primarily a rise in mortgage rates, which has slowed folks down. Certainly affordability is an issue, the biggest issue in real estate, in my opinion, right now. But we're not going to go into that today, but you start to see the dynamics there. And I mentioned before, okay, inventory is rising. I would pull this same information right now, or I would go back and I would grab like a 2-year look in your market and say, this is exactly what's happening. Because, oh, by the way, remember, I might have said people don't believe what you tell them. They believe what they tell themselves, which what they're telling themselves is the house down the street sold for this. No way it was worth that. Ours should sell for this. We're going to sell it in 2 days, get 5 times what we bought it for. Right? And the market is shifting. The market has shifted. And oh, by the way, it's having an impact on price appreciation. This is year over year, each month, the amount of price appreciation in this country. What do you see? Price appreciation decelerating. Okay, so this is important to pay attention to. Right? Inventory rises, has an impact on price. Oh, by the way, it's not the same in every market. The way you read this graphic, the blue bars represent how much inventory has grown in each region of the country over the last year. Then the red and the green bars are how much inventory has grown since the pandemic. So what you see here is the South and the West above pre-pandemic levels, Northeast and the Midwest still very much down. And we have people on today from every region of this country, right? Everything's not operating in the same way like in 21, 22, when everything was kind of up and to the right, things were selling faster than we could control. But these dynamics start to happen. So inventory rises as an effect on price. Oh, by the way, what else is back? Price reductions. And again, I don't think there's anything right now, and I want to make this point in case you're going, David, I know all of this. And I know you do. I hope you do if you're watching this. But I want to bring some context and maybe a visual to it that you can share with somebody. Because here's the danger in our business right now. It's sort of called the curse of knowledge. The curse of knowledge is just because I understand something, I expect you to understand it too. Just because I understand it, maybe sellers know this, maybe they don't know. And so you sit down, you have, sort of mismatched expectations. Maybe somebody buys a listing. They're like, certainly we can sell it for that, right? But price reductions are back, right? They've doubled, really. If you look, the green bars are July of each year. A couple of years ago, a little over 200,000, just over 400,000 price reductions in the month of July in this country. If you look at this is the state view. You go out to, Oregon, Colorado, 28%, Texas, 25%. On average, 20% of the active listings in this country in July had a price cut. Okay. Hugely, hugely important to pay attention to. Why is this so important? It's important for a couple of reasons. Realtor.com did a study a couple of months ago, and here's what they came up with in surveying potential sellers. 8 in 10 potential sellers think they will get their asking price or more. right? People don't believe what you tell them. They believe what they tell themselves, right? They don't understand the dynamics of the market. And sometimes the work, you're very generous, Barry, in saying all the great work that we do at KCM, grateful for it and the support there. But sometimes this information is not super technical, but we think, well, if I can share everything technical, sometimes we just need to say, hey, here's what's happening with inventory. Here's the impact on price. Because the reality is if something's not priced right, it's not selling in this market. Things that are priced right are selling. It takes a very direct conversation with a seller about what's happening to make an impact. I'll give you a couple other things before I turn it back over to both of you. But it's showing up in major cities. 20 of the largest 50 metros in this country now are seeing prices come down, right? Well, you can see them right here. Now I'd pump the brakes on prices coming down. Most are 2 to 3% year over year. And the average in this country in the last 5 years has been about 55% price growth, right? So a lot of these markets saw even more than that. Every market in this country is up over the last 5 years. We know that. But this is not a, sort of a symptomatic view of, are we about to go down this road again where prices fall? Now I want to show that to you so you can have the confidence and give you a couple of numbers on that. Then I'll show you how to grab these slides and turn it back over to you. But certainly we're seeing this market turn. Agents that understand it, agents that are able to educate their clients and listen. Oh, by the way, the word that I would use is consistently is what's winning in this market. The agent that's consistent in being out in front and saying, here's exactly what's happening in our market, they are definitely winning. One of the questions that I get a lot of times is, I'll get a sort of a YouTube video, or somebody will text me something and say, what do you think of this? Somebody on YouTube's like, here we go again, right? The market's about to, the bottom's about to fall out of it. I want to give you 3 numbers that I think every a person in our business should know right now. And if you play the lottery, you can go out and play these numbers tonight because they are good numbers. The first number is 48. That number represents $48 trillion. That is the value of residential real estate in this country, $48 trillion, the industry that we work in. You added up the value of all the homes in this country, that's what you get. 35 trillion. That number represents the equity in homes today. There are more equity in homes than ever before in this country. I think most of us on the call know that. And 13 trillion represents the debt on those homes. More mortgage debt than there's ever been before in this country too. That is a fact. The reason I'm bringing this up to you is for a number of different reasons. People will use these numbers and manipulate them to make you think there's an issue in real estate. And here we go again. But if you were to graph these over time, this is what this looks like. This goes all the way back to 2000. There is more equity in homes today than there's ever been. We could make the case right now, and I want to sort of leave you with this, that we live under the surface in the strongest real estate market of our lifetime. Most people that have a mortgage today couldn't go out and rent an apartment for what their mortgage payment is. You want to know some homes that aren't going to get foreclosed on? All of those. Now, are we seeing a little bit of rise in the South in government-backed loans? There is a rise there. Is it symptomatic of a larger issue? I don't believe so. Because you're strong. Look back here. This is, if you can see that right there, that's 2008, where there was more debt than equity in this country. And if one thing became true during the pandemic in the last 10 years is people said, we're going to do it differently. Saw somebody get hurt, saw my parents get hurt, maybe I was hurt. I'm not going to go out and do a cash out refi and go buy a jet ski or whatever people were doing, go on vacation. They did it differently. So my hope is you can take that information, be confident about it, articulate what's happening with inventory growing across the country, articulate how it's impacting price in your market. I'll give you this as I turn it back over to you, Barry and Janelle. And you can scan that QR code. I'll give you all the slides that I just presented, plus a way to take action. And I want to leave you with that. My hope is that you'll take action with these slides, use them to educate the folks that you're working with, buyers, sellers, And you can, I know, make an impact in somebody's life. If you educate someone well, you don't have to convince them to do anything. They can make the best decision for them and their family. So turn it back over to you, Barry.
Yeah, no, this is really interesting. Howard, I saw your wheels spinning. It's interesting seeing that graph is like right up your alley, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we talked about it at the in-person success summit in Charleston. Massive, massive amount of home equity. We as an industry really shouldn't care too much about whether prices go up or down. Just, what we care about is number of transactions.
Yeah.
What we want is 6.5 million transactions a year. We don't want 3.98 million transactions a year. Like that's it, right? The numbers are there. And, so David, I mean, what are your thoughts when you look out at the rest of the year, when you look at 2026, 2027, what are you thinking? And obviously no one has a, complete crystal ball, but what are you thinking about where we go in terms of number of units?
It's interesting. Forecasts right now are that we will incrementally sell more homes each year. Even forecasts for 26 are that we will sell slightly more homes. I don't think I see anybody calling for this breakout sort of in the next year or two. So there's two things that are probably true about that. And everybody on the call knows it. We pulled a lot of demand forward in 21 and 22, right? A lot of people made decisions opportunistically to move and do something like that. But what will bring more people into the market is improved affordability. And so I do believe in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll see a little bit of relief in mortgage rates. Forecasts for the next 12 months are between 6.5 and 6. I think that will bode well for our business. So listen, if we dip our toes in the 5s, I think psychologically for buyers, that game will be on. But this is the middle right now. The start's easy, right? In anything, the start's easy. The finish is easy. When you can see the finish line, you can finish. We're in the middle right now where the consistent professional wins. But I think, Howard, our business and transactions will get incrementally better. But nobody calling for us to blow the doors off.
I mean, David, what we showed at the summit, we showed all these, macroeconomic slides. Your slides are really amazing, right? Show all that. But really where we ended was, you can't control that, right?
Sure.
So like, why do we it's good to know, right? It's good to be knowledgeable, but you really can't control that. You can control you and control what you do, right? And what we also showed was basically the percentage of agents that were doing one or more deals a year, went from like this astronomical number, and I don't remember exactly, like in the 90 percentiles, whatever, and it just went down to like, and again, I forgot the numbers, like 28% or something
Sure.
like that. I'll put the numbers, but it's ridiculous, right? And that to me was actually for the people that were in our room, right? For the people that John Cheplak deals with, right? The action people, right? It's just more market share. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And those folks, even though globally transactions are coming down, they're doing more business than ever, right? Because they've got more market share. All the folks that rode up the wave of, up to 7 million transactions, and it was just like, yeah, everybody could make a living, right? Well, those days are over. It's been over for 3 years. And 3 years, you thin the herd. And that's evolution, man. That's Darwin. You thin the herd, right?
So,
and who's left? The strong, right? The strong who have the right systems, the right processes, the right coaching, the right team members, all of that, right? So I think that's kind of what we end with. And I think keeping current does matter. I think we encourage everybody to sign up for Keeping Current matters. I think it's important to be in the know, not be blinded to that, and then create action around the environment that we see. But I agree with you, man. Tremendous amount of equity that's locked up in homes. People are going to be coming off the fences. Seller lock wears off, as I said, every quarter. And I think people should be optimistic. Honestly, I think people should be really, really optimistic.
So
I agree.
We do have 2 questions in the chat that, David, I know you're a busy man. If you have a second, check those
Sure,
out.
I do.
Yeah, you can check those out. I can't do it live though, because we are in a tight schedule. I'm going to have to move to John Cheplak next. But if this has been helpful to
I'll go
anybody,
fast.
no. If this has been helpful, if hearing about the market from David has been helpful, I want you to type yes in the chat. That's your thank you to him, to let him know that he was on track today. So let him know he did a good job today. So many, I can't even count, David.
Wow.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
going over the
It's wonderful to be on. Thank you so much.
Amazing information. Really appreciate you.
Mhm.
So,
Grateful.
so next we have a speaker that, in my opinion, doesn't need an introduction. However, we're going to do it out of respect for his position and what he's done. He is a master of masters when it comes to business coaching, specifically recruiting, helping the elite become a next and better version. When you look at the roster of people and businesses that he's impacted in his respective organization, it shows a level of quality and dedication to his people that, in my opinion, is unmatched in the industry. And so we asked him today to talk to this group about momentum and specifically recruiting people for profits regardless of the market condition. And so, John, we're honored to have you here today, man. We're super excited you to pour in. Take those 15 minutes, you dive into us and help us any way you can.
Rock and roll. It is a privilege. I know everyone's time is really, really valuable, and something you can't get back. This is the most important thing for me, is to have impact. I want to thank Ylopo and Fall Boss and you folks for trusting in me to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, what I like to do is a couple different things. I want to do some framing for you, because here's the bottom line. We're all speakers, trainers, coaches, and rollers. And think about this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the missing piece story. Okay. That's something you need to remember when you're speaking, when you're teaching, when you're coaching, when you're presenting, when you're trying to convert. Give people the missing piece story. We've got one team, 170 agents, sold 310 homes last month. They recruited 20 agents. I have another team that closed 500 transactions last year. They've already passed that this year. They recruited 12 agents. Now, there's another caveat that I want to share with you. So it's possible. We have people that are showing up and following the principles, simple principles I can give you in 15 minutes, that literally leave after the first time they hear this. And you can see the videos there everywhere on the internet. Okay. I went back and I recruited 21 agents in 30 days. I recruited 12. My goal was 4. I recruited 16. My goal was 4. Let's jump in. Here's the good news. Whether you're working with buyers, sellers, you're recruiting agents, we're all recruiters. What we do every single day is we go out and we market and we prospect and we demonstrate our value proposition. We present and people measure whether we're worth it or not, and we nurture and we convert. So for those of you that aren't recruiting, oh, yes, you are. Everyone's in the recruiting business. Here's the business you're in. We're all in the enrollment business. I wrote down some notes. I'm not a presentation type guy. I'm a guy that goes real time from what am I hearing right now. I want you to think about this. First of all, there's more movement of experienced agents that I've seen in modern time. Unbelievable. Okay. But here's some issues I need you to think about when you look at moving them. We are in a trust recession. We are in a trust recession. So you need to think about your messaging. Okay. Think about your messaging. Your audience guard is up. The consumer's guard is up. The recruit's guard is up. Okay. Number 3 and 4. These are the critical ones. You need to stop converting and you need to start contributing. You need to stop converting and start contributing. The converters right now are contributing. They're waking up every single day with one thing on their mind. How can I impact my audience? How can I leave them feeling better about themselves, their circumstance, their situation, when they see a social media post, when they read an email, when they talk to me on the phone, when they receive a text message from me? Contribution is crushing right now, big time. The conversion is great. See, here's what you need to think about from sales. Someone is on point A, and again, this is recruiting, but it's also enrolling with the consumer. The agent is at point A. You want to get them to point B. You know, the problem is what you try and do. Hey, nice to meet you. Let's get married and have 37 kids tomorrow. Okay. Here's what I want you to think about. You've got to seed the next step. Seed the next step. And the way you seed the next step is by making deposits in the business relationship equity account. No one is telling you no out there. No one is. You know what they're telling you? The business relationship equity account is overdrawn. It's like an ATM machine. That's what you got to understand. You're going to this ATM machine and you can't get any cash out of there because you didn't sell any houses. No, I mean, because you didn't make any deposits, okay, in the relationship. But I just wanted to give a little jab there right now, okay? So, relational versus transactional. Like, pick your number, choose your number, where you're going. But then I'm going to promise you this: if you stay in contribution, if you stay relational, and you stay obsessed with the process. See, I don't have any rocket science. It's the same old stuff I've talked about. You can go watch the black and white videos on YouTube 37 years ago with 3 views on them. 3, okay? Then I really started bumping up. I increased by 100%, went to 6. I'm saying the same thing. I still suck at YouTube too, but I'm winning. And I want to pick that up. I want to point that out to you too. How to choose your lanes. Okay. So keep that foundation. Here's the other thing you need to think about too. So I've got to lower their guard. Okay. The guard is sky high. We're in a trust recession. We're in the lowest level of uncertainty since 2007. See, psychographics. You've got to understand the behavior. It's the same with the consumer right now as it is with the recruit. And here's the other part. You know, the biggest reason your recruits aren't joining you? You need to know this, okay? This is the science. And I'm not the brilliant one. I get to ride along with brilliant people doing big things. But here's what we're in. We're not in the transaction business. So you want to go big, you got to stop the transaction business and get in the human relationship business. Do you know the number one objection right now? Yes, there's more movement than I've seen ever before, but we are into the science and the art of the humans we're talking to. You want to know the big objection they're not telling you? What if I fail there? How are you going to overcome that one? See, what's happening right now is the subconscious is choosing. We keep trying to talk to the conscious brain. The conscious brain does not make decisions. The subconscious does. And so what you've got to do in the process is you've got to create a new story. Some of you may be here doing well and you want to do better. That's why I shared some missing stories with you. Some of you may be struggling, okay? And, you know, we've got people with 4 agents on their team get 12 in the next 30 days. And I love this one. Well, I'm picky. Oh, okay, good. Show me your roster. Show me your roster. Show me your attrition. Okay. I've been doing this thing. I'm not good. I just been around long. So quit that BS. No one's been able. You can Colby me. You can proctologist me. You can preacher me. You can everything me. And you cannot figure out who's going to be productive. So quit the lie. Just quit the lie. Okay. So now, let me give you the simple stuff. People don't believe what they're told. They believe what they experience. Create an experience of what it's going to be like when they join before they join. You know the challenge, what we do? Anyone here like to be vomited on? Yeah, I'm being aggressive. You like being vomited on? Well, that's what your interviews look like. That's what you look like when you go to FISBOs. That's what you guys look like when you get on the phone with people. Let me vomit on you. Remember this, you guys. The 3 most important subjects to any human being are me, myself, and I. You've heard this before. I learned this, and I'm always going to give attribution. I haven't created anything. I've learned from people. I went through Donald Miller's Story Brand 1.0 way back, way back. And you know what? It's really simple. No one's waking up looking for a hero. No one is. You know what they're looking for? They're looking to be a hero with their family, with their friends. They need a guide. It's not about you. And when you come to understand it's not about you, when you come to understand that it is relational, when you come to understand that it is contribution, when you come to understand that it is true impact, and you are treating everyone that you're prospecting to as if they're your second roster, they're your second roster. You're coaching, training, and leading the competitors' agents for one of 3 reasons. Number 1, if something changes, you will be the first choice. See, here's what I want to be. I want to be second place, first choice. And I tell them that. Tell them what's happening. Be straight up, not tiptoe high with all these dancing around. No, just be straight up. Okay. Number 1, if something changes, I want to be your first choice. Number 2, you may see great value in our interactions and eventually want to join. Number 3, you may never join. We've got a relationship. You run into someone out there that wants to change brokerages and you'll choose me. It's really that simple. Why do I have to go there? I don't know. Any of y'all that are recruiters here ever have a massive, awesome interview and you get ghosted? Come on. Yeah. And you know what? I know why. You try to convert them. Write this down. Context versus content. Well, what are you going to talk about? Like, you know, you vomited on them. Okay. And now you got nothing else. Hi, you ready yet? Hey, we got a new fur-lined bird bath in the break room. Hey, you'll get 7.5 postcards, just listed postcards on a crescent moon and a low tide. I mean, no. That's why up front, what you do is, hey, listen, it'd be ridiculous for me. It'd be ridiculous for me to sit here and try and convert you on a phone call, an initial interview. Because think about this. I'm asking you to uproot both your family and your business. See, because here's what we believe at John Cheplak Real Estate. And we know everything that we do in your business is here to impact your life. And if those two aren't handed, see what I'm doing also, right? I'm culturizing in the dialogue, okay? I'm lowering their guard. And I've already future paced them. So I want you to watch the things that happen. And then the other thing that I've done is I've also handled the objection in advance. See, remember these pieces, and I just want to dump as much as I can. You need a phone, you need an email, and you need freaking social media. That's all you need. Period. Period. That's it. That's it. Okay? Because think about it right now. I mean, where do agents hang out when they're not selling real estate? Not that you don't want them to don't sell real estate. They're hanging out on social media. They just are. That's where they are. That's where the eyeballs are. So last time I checked, we want to be where the eyeballs are. Okay. So number one, here's a simple thing. Number one, leave here. You need to send out one email a week that has no links, no call to action, nothing. I want you to act as if you're sending an email to your agents to help them sell more real estate, but you're sending it to your prospects. Zero. You get above a 30% email open rate. Okay. I'm just telling you guys the playbook. It ain't hard. You get above 30% email open rate. Then what you do is you increase it to Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday. Guess who you call? The people that open the email. Oh my God. It's a warm call. It's the law of fair exchange, the law of reciprocity. I know you've never heard any of that before. It's like, stop complicating it. And they're called hypers. So the hypers that take action with your email are most likely to pick up and most likely to give you time. Okay. So you send those emails out. Number two, post. You know, the best marketing class right now is that $7 CE credit class at the Board of Realtors they had you come to on social media 37 years ago. Well, many of you probably aren't 37, and I don't think all of it was going then, but I'm talking years ago. Listen, all you've got to do, pick your 3 channels, but I'm going to be a YouTube specialist. So many of you guys are going to be so special at everything, and you do nothing. You do nothing. Like you're a jack of all trades and master of none, and you're really good at explaining things. Listen, you know what you're in? You're in the mindset market and an action economy. You are in a mindset market and you're an action economy, and the person that takes action wins. Wake up every single day, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, and educate your audience. Treat your audience as if they were your agents. Period. Simple. That's it. That's all. Number 2, you send your email out twice a week, educational, informational. Let me give you my down and dirty, and I'll just share with you. I get 50 to 55% email open rates, have for years. Okay. And many of you, I'm sure, not many, that's kind of egotistical. Maybe some of you are on my email list. And if you are, how many of you have received 3 emails from me in a single day? Okay. Go ahead and put it in there so other people can see that. Okay. I'll send them. You want to know why I can send them? Because I give value, value, value. And then here's the deal. Ready? The undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Okay. Undisputed. I get them, right? You bet. And you've received 3 in a day. Listen, this isn't me. And you guys have probably seen the videos. I'll give a name because a lot of people like to throw, oh, we did this. Who? Oh, this mystery person. It's like this person has this resume, but you never see it, never results. I'll give you an example. Lori Reeder. I'm going to give you the dialogue that we use that has set 130 experienced agent recruiting interviews for Lori Reeder in the last 60 days. Let me say it again. 130 appointments. So if you're struggling with recruiting, you're not doing it right. I'm going to give it to you. It's called the Get Comfy. And I'm going to go fast because I'm past my time. Okay. Hey, it's John Cheplak with ABC Real Estate. I know you're probably happy at your current company. I just want to let you know if anything changes, we'd love to be your destination. I love it here. Awesome. I've heard great things. What do? I handle objection advance, empathy. Okay. Base your next question on their response. This is simple sales. Base their next question. Okay. Base your next question on their response. Okay. Go for the appointment. 30 minutes. Always say 30 minutes. Agents, first thing an agent says is you're blowing my day. The unconscious brain says you're going to blow out my day. 30 minutes. It'll elevate your conversion. Are you open-minded? I am. Reclose. Okay. They don't go for it. Are you a big thinker, a little thinker? I'm a big thinker. Great. So you're a big thinker. It would make sense for us to, no way. Bridget, big thinker, open-minded. What would get in the way? Okay. They may say no again. And the final one, well, I don't know. I always thought it made sense to sit down with the competition. I gave you the down and dirty, what is setting 6, 7, 8 appointments from dialers in Mexico that don't even know about real estate for top teams. That's the stuff. That's what wins. Get your emails out, give people value. And guess what? Sorry, you can do all your AI fancy avoidance stuff, which matters. It's important. Yes, I'm not crapping on it. This is the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm out.
John?
Peace.
No, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. This was amazing. This is amazing. 2 things. One, several people asked, I want to be on John's email list. How do they get on your email list?
Gosh, I don't even know what the URL is. I don't want to. You guys probably don't want me dropping it. You probably don't want me dropping a link in here, do you?
No, I do. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just never want to be. I want to
No,
want to be that cheesy.
I'm saying people are asking for it. Let's give the people what they want, John.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And
if you guys get into it really quick, here's what I want you to do. There's 2 things that I want you to watch. Many things. Use it as a modeling. Just rip off. Like email is an ATM machine, you guys. It is a freaking ATM machine when you do it right. So I want you to watch my headlines, okay? And I want you to watch my subject lines. I want you to see that I primarily go with incomplete sentences and rip it around. I want you to look at the spacing and all that stuff. So I'm going to put that right here in a link.
John, your spacing is key. Your spacing is key in your emails. I love how you break that up because it's just so much easier to focus on and really captivate.
I agree.
Thank you. White space in marketing pulls the eyes in. You guys, 3 to 4 sentence line max, not sentence, 3 to 4 line max in your marketing because you're trying to get people to read downhill.
All right. And then 30 seconds or less. If we have somebody that's maybe they're a single agent and they have an assistant and they ran into you at a conference that, John, when should I start recruiting agents to join my team? What would you tell them? The short answer.
My short answer is going to be when you got way too many leads.
Okay.
When you've got a customer service issue.
Okay. All right.
I mean, and I like the number. There's people who do it 30 or 40, but I don't know. What I see is the people that are at, and it depends on your financial resource, et cetera. But that 80 to 100 number is a good number, but there's people that go 40 or 50 too. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. Amazing. John,
awesome.
Thank you so much for pouring into our community. We appreciate your time as always. Look forward to seeing you next month.
Can't wait. See you guys.
Right. Yep. Bye. All right. So, that recruiting mentality is amazing, isn't it, Janelle? Just seeing how he's kind of tying into everything.
I love listening to John speak. Yes, he's just so. I always leave. I'm just so pumped.
All right, so now we have several new faces, but one that I'm going to introduce now is our mad scientist. He's got like 3 different roles within the company. Jufeng Ji, co-founder, CMO.
President. He's president.
He had changed again. I can't even keep up anymore. It doesn't even matter.
Seriously, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But
I
wanted you to go. I talked to G and I said, listen, you're always building something cool. Can you just take a couple minutes and just share something cool that you've been building so that we can kind of see where the industry's heading? How can we leverage tech in a unique way?
Awesome. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Apologize for any background noise. I took the 5 a.m. flight out of LAX to be here and talk with you guys, and I still missed my first session. So I'm at the airport here, and there is some background noise, but hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yeah, I can't hear it at all, actually.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Awesome. So what I wanted to talk to you guys today about is the world that is changing around lead generation, and specifically the product that we're most excited about today is called Google Live Transfers. Barry, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. And, this is something that takes at least 30 minutes to really explain well. And I've got 4 here. And so I'm going to fly through this really quickly, right? Bottom line is there's a lot of different ways to generate leads from Google and Facebook and all these other sources, right? It's not just like I'm getting Google leads, I'm getting Facebook leads. And Google is experimenting all the time to figure out how they get the most value from the searches that people are doing, right? And by far, the most valuable search for real estate in Google is realtor near me. That is someone who's looking to buy or sell and looking for a realtor, right? And so Google, the way they monetize that is in 2021, they launched Google Local Services ads, right? This is where when you type in Los Angeles Realtor, you've got realtors underneath right here with their pictures. And the call to action is to basically call these people and get an inbound phone call, right? And we do and manage Google Local Services ads for you as well. And these ads push down the traditional Google PPC ads that you would normally see, right? So I want you to see what Google is now doing on mobile. So look here, you type in realtor in Los Angeles, you've got all of the LSA ads, and then right underneath, Google Maps, right? So they've actually pushed down all of the search results even more to start showing you map results, right? Now, why would they do that? First off, the map results look very beautiful because they're all linking to your Google My Business page, etc., right? But the second thing, and I'll go back to that chart later, is that when you go on Google Maps, the first links on Google Maps, they're not organic results anymore. They used to be. They're now sponsored results, right? And these sponsored results, when you click on it, goes directly to your Google My Business profile page, right? And so these are gold leads of people looking for realtors near me that are so interested in this area that they are looking on the Google Maps results to find the realtor that is closest to them with the highest reviews and all that stuff. And you can now show at the very top of these ad units with Google Maps ads, right? Now, we've been running Google Maps ads for our clients for about 5-6 months now at this point. It's a very relatively new product, right? And the beauty about Ylopo is we track everything that's happening with all the leads in your system. Thanks to our partnership with Follow Boss, we can read the data from Follow Boss, and we know when a lead goes from a lead stage to a hot stage to a pending stage to a closed stage, right? And what we typically find in a 5-month period is if you're advertising Google Homes for Sale keywords, right, that, it takes about 9 to 12 months, maybe more, to convert a Google lead, right? And so your pending and sold rate is 0.3%. That's very typical, right? Because again, it takes a long time to convert, Google PPC leads. Google Local Services ads in a 5-month span converts at 1.9%. It's pretty darn good. That means that, 2 out of 100 inbound phone calls you get from Google Local Services ads turn into a pending or closed. Look at this, Google Maps. For valid leads that we send through Google Maps, they're getting a 4.8% conversion rate. That's bonkers, right? That's about as good as it gets in the lead generation game, right? Now, the caveat to this is look at cost per lead. A Google PPC lead, $18. A Google LSA lead, $60. A Google Maps valid lead, $150, right? And so there's the economics, obviously, of these you have to understand. The higher it closes, the more expensive these leads are, right? But this is a new source of inbound leads we're generating because what we're doing on the Ylopo side is our call center actually fields all of the inbound calls coming in from Google Live transfers. We filter out all of the bad calls for you, right? So this is just showing you a spreadsheet of all of the calls that came in for one day. And the leads that are money, right? Looking to sell, question about the property deed, client referral, loan officer calling, blah, 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 blah. All these are good leads, but in between here, spam call, wrong number, spam call, hunt up. You don't want to be dealing with all of that, right? You want a service that will scrub all the leads coming in and only give you the best leads, right? And that's what our product does. We advertise on Maps for you. We take all the phone calls ourselves through our call center. We scrub out all the leads that are bad, and we only deliver and hot transfer the leads that make sense, right? And through all of this process, like I really focus on ROI, for all of our clients, right? And I just want you guys to see the math. If you had a $150 cost per lead and you got 20 leads a month, that would be a $3,000 fee plus a $350 platform fee. That's our Ylopo platform fee. And so you're basically spending $3,350 in a month, right? If you convert it at 4.8 at 20 leads, you get one deal a month, right? The average GCI, 425,000, means an average commission check of $10,500. And so your 5-month conversion rate, meaning your payback period of 5 months, is a 300% ROI, right? And it's probably the product I'm most excited about today because it's new. Not a lot of people are doing it. and we're doing it at a very large scale, and we're about to roll it out to even more clients. And so if you're interested in hearing more about GLT, again, I only took 5 minutes to talk about this. Just scan this QR code and we can talk to you more about it.
Yeah, so keep that QR code live for just a second. You know, for me personally, I'll just say, when I go to Google Maps and I type insert business near me, I'm ready to transact with that business. And the fact that we finally have a paid placement in that environment in the real estate industry, I'm excited about. My experience yeah, and somebody's asking for the link because they you know, they're watching this on their phone. My experience with local service ads, for example, which was like a year or two ago, was great until it got crowded. Gee, how long, I know like you don't have a crystal ball, but how much time do we have as agents before this product is crowded? Like, what's our runway here to be one of the first in our respective markets to have this Google Maps product?
It's hard to say. I'd say, you know, it's one of those things where as well as it's working now, I would be shocked if, you know, most agents aren't doing it just like they do with LSA within the next year or so, right? But the beauty of where Google's going is they're pushing more and more phone calls. You know, they realize, you know, agents, but, you know, businesses in general want phone calls. They don't want lead registration calls, right? And so we're figuring out places to generate phone calls all over the web, all over Google right now.
All right. So we got to move to Tristan, but if what you guys heard, you've got 6 to 12 months of runway with this type of ad product to be really unique, really special, capture a ton of business, act now. And if Michelle, if you could share a link to the form, that would be great. Because there was, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jamie. All right, G, thank you so much. I believe we'll be seeing you.
And last thing, guys, this works in Canada. So I saw Jason's comment there. So, hey, Jason, this works in Canada.
All right. Okay. Amazing.
That's always a big question we get in the community too. Does this work in Canada?
I know. Does this work in Canada? Yes,
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, G. We'll see you again a little bit later.
Okay.
All right. Tristan. There we go.
Hey.
Tristan.
What's up? Howard's even here. What's up, Howard?
What's up, Tristan?
What's up, Barry? What's up, Janelle?
Hello.
How are you?
See you. I'm great.
Nice to see you guys.
Yeah, for everyone who doesn't know who Tristan is, which again, another face that does not need anyone to introduce him, but he is the CEO of Lab Coat Agents, an absolute real estate trailblazer and one of the most forward-thinking voices, in my opinion, in the business today. Tristan is also a mentor and a friend for me. When I stepped into my role in the community, his support and just friendship and just it helps shape where I'm going in the community. And we really need to catch up, by the way. I sent you a text earlier when I saw that you were going to be on this panel. So we definitely have to connect. But yeah, so you're going to be talking to us all about social and AI.
And listen, we've got 10 minutes. Let's get right into this one. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you because in July, we had Rocket Mortgage release this investor presentation to the world. And they're outlining exactly what they're going to do. And listen, it's not good or bad because you have Zillow, who is a friend of mine. You have ICE Mortgage. You have other companies going in the same direction. We need to understand what they're doing because it plays a role into where we go and how we function. Look at what they're saying. A large and fragmented market. This is real estate, 5 trillion, 29 trillion gross domestic product, and then mortgage. They figured, hey, you know what? We're in the mortgage world. In fact, we only do refis. We need to get better at purchases. There's a big opportunity because they feel homeownership is a cornerstone of the American dream, which is important because this is how they're selling it. This is what you need to pay attention to because this is going to differentiate you from everyone else. This is the game that private money is playing, public money, these massive companies. There's a home search, and this is why they bought Redfin. There's title, there's a cost. Mortgage, there's a cost. Buying and selling. It averages to about 40K, and they're telling the consumer, we're going to make it less expensive for you. This is what's going to happen. You can take a look at this. You can see the disruption is in their DNA. Why don't I just drop this in so all of you can take a look at this and have fun exploring all of those details, because I'm going to go to a different section. But first, there's a differentiation that's happening. And the key to you standing out is differentiating. Who are you when you are attracting people? Because you're either attracting them or you're doing nothing with them. And the attraction is the world that we're in, because I don't know who, but earlier, one of the speakers says, well, listen, social media is the place to go. Why don't we just show you through data the most visited websites in the world? Google's number 1, YouTube's number 2, Facebook's number 3, Instagram's number 4. Where the hell did ChatGPT come from to be number 5? What the hell happened?
Yeah.
Because now ChatGPT is pulling from 2 places, pulling from social and pulling from Google on how you show up on Google, whether it's, your business profile, whether it's your blogs, whether it's whatever it is. It's creating all of the results on how people are searching for stuff from those 2 main sources. And how are you showing up? Because if I'm thinking about what Redfin and Rocket and Zillow and Flex and everybody else is doing, you've got 2 parties. You've got the party over here where I'm going to have to play to survive and gain momentum in a volume setting, because that's the world that we're in. They're allowing us to leverage them. Remember, not good or bad. This is reality. We end up with less money in our pocket. And then we have the other side, which is we have the ability to decide the default brand that shows up for the audience we want to attract. And this is what you need to think. You need to think, how am I showing up on Instagram, on those sites that I showed you, Facebook, YouTube, Google? How am I showing up on ChatGPT consistently over the next 5 years? Because this is a career. This is a long-term play. And you've got to own the workflow. This is why I love Ylopo. You've got to earn the workflow. Once these people are introduced to you through wherever, what happens to them in this whole nurturing process? And how are you showing up? Because if I look at this and say, well, got it, Tristan, Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and ChatGPT, if you want to go to number 6, that's X, by the way. If I want to go here in this world and say, well, how do I show up? Well, I'm going to give you a prompt just to help you show up better. And we're going to do this live. I have 6 minutes, so we're going to speed through this.
We actually built in a buffer this year, or this one. So you do have a few more minutes if we go over.
Perfect. So there's the prompt. I dumped it in. The idea is, how can I show up better based on who I am? And how am I? Well, if you're using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever you're using, it's going to pull from all of that. And I did this about 40 days ago, and this is a new prompt. It's pulling everything and saying, well, Tristan, based on how you show up, based on everything that I'm pulling from the internet from you, based on everything I know and everything that you use me for, you need to show up more like this. And it said exactly how I needed to show up. And trusting that I needed to show up that way, I said, you know what? Let's give this a shot as a test. Let's show up like this on TikTok. Just TikTok. I'm going to talk about the top 3 news trends for the day. And so for the last 30 days, I thought, let's give this a shot. In fact, I took it to the next level, and I simply said, I went to ChatGPT, and over here on the left, fresh real estate headlines, I created a task. So every day at 6 a.m., it sends me the latest trends. I grab them, I put them into a teleprompter, and what do? I read them, because my audience is who? People that are interested in real estate, specifically for me, all across the United States. And if we take a look at what's happened because of me listening to this, all of a sudden our TikTok's growing, and I'm getting people asking, well, what do I do next, Tristan? 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, 2,000, 9,000, 3,000, 5,000, 2,000, 3,000, 8,000. Let's just go and take a look at the details because people are like, well, Tristan, this isn't working anymore. I got 12,000, 28,000, 12,000, 100,000. It just keeps going the last 30 days. And the important thing is this. If I take a look at this, the analytics, which is the important thing, every single day, I'm getting 12, 15, 20 followers. Average watch time increased from 5 seconds to over 20 seconds on each one of the videos. And people are like, well, Tristan, that's just views. I'm like, wait a second. If you pay attention to what's actually happening, because I go to the messages and I take a look at every single day. This was yesterday. Tristan, hope you're doing well. You asked me to DM you with regard to buying a home. Every single day this is happening now. And you think, well, why? Well, what are the most visited websites in the world? Where are people? And then you layer that and say, well, on top of that, we need to build out a newsletter. I use Beehive. Let's take a look at building out a newsletter just the last 30 days. Open ratio. I started with 0, went up to 250 in a day. 76% open ratio. I went up 300 another week. 600. Now I'm up to, this is about 5 weeks in, 1,700 people. The last one I sent had a 60% open ratio. This is growing just from this channel. And now you take a look and say, well, how are we going to beat Rocket? How are we going to beat all these people coming and encroaching into our space? You need to show up more for those people. And if I simplify, that's my calendar. If I simplify this right here into what you should be doing daily, you can take a snapshot of this because this is what we do as a team. Every day I need you reaching out to 5 people in your database that you haven't talked to in 60 days. It can be a text. And it's not like this, everyone. It's not like, hey, Barry, hey, Janelle, this is a business call. Do you have 5 minutes? That's called spam. That's how you don't connect with people, because then they get used to you doing that. And it's like, I'm not going to pick up Barry's call. It's always about
Put that back
business.
up. People are asking to see it again.
Yeah. The thing that you want to do is you want to have a reason to reach out to people. And I built a directory. Barry, you own a home. Let's just say you own a home. I'm reaching out to you. I know the 3 most important things about owning a home: maintenance, repairs, and improvements, MRI. And I'm going to reach out to you and say, hey, Barry, by text, because you're a past client. You're in my sphere. By text, Barry, it's Tristan. Listen, I just updated our directory. I put in a great electrician. Do you have, by any chance, anybody you've used recently that I could add to this? And you're like, yeah, I've got, or no, I don't. Great, let me send you the new updated one. Did I just spam you or did I give you value? Because now, Barry, I'm reaching out to you. You're going to say, oh yeah, you know what? I have a great plumber. Say, great, can I get their number? I'm going to give them a call. And I'm going to vet them to see if I can add them. Call up the plumber. Janelle, you're the plumber. Janelle, it's Tristan. Listen, Barry just said you did amazing for them. I'm adding you to our directory, but first, I'm doing just due diligence. Do you by any chance have another person that you did amazing work for that I can reach out to and just vet you so I can add you to this list? You're like, yeah, I do. The person's name's Joe. Great. Give me their information. Joe, it's Tristan. Listen, Janelle said you did amazing work for them and I've got this directory and I'm adding them, blah, blah, blah. Great. They did amazing. Well, Joe, listen, once I'm done with this directory, I'm going to send it over to you. I'm going to go back to Janelle, the plumber. Janelle, listen, you're in. Do me a favor, Janelle. We're both businesses. You come across a lot of people, and sometimes they may want to sell, they may want to buy. We'll reciprocate. Then I go back to Barry. Barry, thanks. I added him. I'll keep you updated on any new directory. See the difference? You started a business. You're running something that now connects with people at a completely different level. But guess what? We've been stuck on saying the same crap for years because we don't think about how we approach this whole business. This is why I love Barry's book.
Hey, I put your book in the chat because you always do that to me. Yeah, I beat you to it actually.
Oh shit!
Tristan's book.
Well, you have an advantage. You started first.
So real quick. First of all, this was so good. I am probably going to start a TikTok channel because of what I just saw Tristan go over. I'm not kidding. But if you got a nugget from some of this, at least say me, right? Just type in the letters ME in chat. Let Tristan know that he helped you. And if you want to take the additional, look at all this, dude. You crushed it. If you want to take an additional step and type what you got out of it, that's fine too. But I mean, dude, what you just did was you took us high, you took us low, super practical. And Janelle, wouldn't you agree? I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm probably going to do a TikTok channel now.
That was super exciting, and that you plug that fresh real estate trends prompt in, because I watch these, Tristan, every day. I'm seeing what you're doing. So that was
at some point I realized that I wasn't smart enough. I really did. I was like, what am I missing? I'm like, I'm just going to trust ChatGPT for this. And I'm
yeah.
just going to pretend I'm an absolute idiot. And I'm just going to go with it. And I did. And I'm like,
Well, it's working, clearly.
shit, I guess I don't know anything. That's what I thought.
So,
Thanks, everybody.
hold on. No, you're not leaving yet. So how
Oh.
long, let's see, how long are your videos in the morning on TikTok, roughly?
Two minutes, between 2 minutes and 15 seconds to 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It ranges.
All right. And then that email, that Beehive email that you're sending out, is that to real estate agents or consumers?
No, that one's directly to the consumer. I just started that one because I started the TikTok channel.
And that email, it's just like market content, like KCM style stuff?
I decided to create a blog from it because it was doing so well. It's called Big News in Real Estate Today, which is my hook at the very beginning. So I'll dump it in here so people can take a look. This is doing so well, Barry, that I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't even understand. I'm just gonna go with it.
You're riding the wave, dude.
I'm just riding the wave.
That's amazing. Well, Tristan, I know that I personally got a lot of value. I mean, literally, you're the reason that I got connected with Ylopo, and I literally did not even want to buy the product in 27. I was like, really? Leads? I don't know. Dude, just trust me. Dude, just trust me. And I listened to you. Here we are. So we've got 2 minutes. Real quick, if anybody has, because there's so many people are asking questions that I
There is
missed
a question here from
Yeah,
Leslie. She said, email send to entire database. I'm kind of like, Tristan, how do you feel about that?
No, I've got different databases, right?
Uh-huh.
So I've got our lab code agents, a brilliant tribe, real estate prospecting, and now this one and a few other ones. I don't know that you would need to do that. It just depends. It depends what it is that you're trying to do.
Mhm.
Think of those databases as different verticals and just decide what you think is valuable to them.
Mhm.
And if somebody wanted to connect with you and either view your content, things like that, could you put in the chat just the best way for people to either follow you or reach you? Because and then while you're typing that, I'm going to ask you to multitask. Sorry, not sorry. Was it discouraging starting out on TikTok at first? Seems overwhelming to begin with when all I have is Facebook for social media.
Yeah, it is. Actually, it's very demoralizing. Like you look at this and you're like, I'm never gonna grow. I hate this. That's actually the first thought I thought. And I'll go back a little bit to show you because give me a second. I'm just gonna show you numbers because I had ridden the wave of TikTok at the very beginning when this grew, and I performed really well.
Have you?
And then let me just mute it there. And then I didn't. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be on TikTok anymore. Right. So you go back 30 days, literally 30 days. And I was like, I'm going to test something because I was doing these and they perform well. I mean, 19,000 views is no joke. Some of them get 100, 200,000, but they get me no followers and no business.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is stupid. I'm not doing it for the views.
Hmm.
So literally the next day I was like, let's try a new style, right? Because before that I'm getting like 170 views, right? Nothing breaks over 1,000. And I'm like, it's demoralizing, guys. And look, maybe I should go back to this stupid shit that gives me views, but no business, right? This is me thinking. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's just stick with this. And then I went from this, I changed it, and I was like, let's give this a shot. It seems to be okay. Let's try this stupid shit again, right? And then it hit. I was like, wait, I think I got something. It was right here that I realized because I started looking at the analytics. And then I'm like, let's just keep going, even though I had these two that didn't perform that well. But then all of a sudden, one of these hit and it got me a client. And I was like, oh shit, I think I'm on to something. This is literally the last 3 weeks, guys, right? 33,000. This one got us 2 pre-approvals, 14,000, 46,000 while I was at Inman. I just wanted to show up and not stop.
Yeah.
And then I was like 105,000. That one got us 3 clients. And then yesterday I got one from the one on top right here.
Dude,
but listen, yeah, it's
that's
super demoralizing when you watch and shit doesn't happen. You're like, I hate this stuff. But
It's like
that's
taking
telling
those
you,
deposits.
you need to switch. You need to try things. You need to just keep moving fast.
Well, I know people, I mean, we're still getting questions. Make sure you guys follow Tristan to get that stuff. He's the real deal. Can't say enough great stuff about him. Tristan, thank you for taking some time with us. And if you want to answer some of those questions in chat, feel free. We want to move to our next speaker.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. Our next speaker is a good buddy of mine, Michael Hellickson. Michael helped my team a few years back go from small to big. With a lot of his growth techniques and team management, been instrumental in a lot of ways in a lot of big teams business. We've asked him to talk about momentum, to talk about increasing revenue and going deep on things that matter to us, growing, making more money, all the things. So Michael, we're so honored to have you here to pour into the group for the next 15 minutes. Just take it away, buddy.
Super awesome. Appreciate you having me. Guys, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a real believer there needs to be credibility behind the message. So just kind of super fast, my claim to fame is for a long time, for about 5.5 years, I was the #1 agent on planet Earth. And that means really I had the #1 team, right? So essentially, at that time, we were closing about 120 to 180 transactions a month. And carrying about 750 active and pending listings at any given time, at a time when #2 and #3 combined were doing about half that. And by the way, both great guys, both smarter than me, better looking than me, more articulate than me. They're more charismatic than me. People like them more than me. Like they had everything, better salespeople than me, way better marketers than me. These guys were crushing it. Why was I doing so much better? Well, I'm going to show you exactly why today. And it's all stuff that can be copied. And so one thing that you guys probably don't know about me is I'm the coach that nobody knows, but that's literally, we're the #1 coaching company in the team and brokerage space. And we've coached pretty much most of the names you would recognize. Like Barry, I saw Tristan was one of our coaching clients, and a lot of other names that you would recognize in the industry. We've helped them get from where you guys are today to where they are now. And I'm saying that not to brag. I'm saying that because one thing that every one of them have in common is a thirst for knowledge. And also, I will say that another thing that they all have in common is extreme discipline and extreme ownership. So here's what we're going to talk about today, really fast. I want you to begin with the end in mind. One of the biggest challenges that most of you guys are having right now is you're thinking about, oh, well, I got to go do this thing, and I got to go do TikTok, and then I got to do Facebook, and then I got to go do recruiting, and then I got to be all, prospecting all the time, and then it's all, social media or whatever. It's just one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and you guys are freaking jumping from one thing to the next all the time. And what you're never doing is you're never getting good at one thing, and you're also not realizing because with all the stuff that's being thrown at you guys, this person over here says it's all recruiting all the time. This person over here says it's all prospecting all the time. And everybody's giving you a different message and saying that that's the one thing that you need to do. Here's the terrible truth that you need to understand. It's not one thing. It's all of it, okay? You need to have all of these pieces in your business. Now, to do that in a way that you don't implode yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, guess what you're gonna have to do? You're gonna have to have a system that you follow every single day. You're gonna have to have what we call a perfect daily schedule. And when you dial in your perfect daily schedule, guess what will happen? You will get to a place where you will be able to accomplish all of it and then some. Now, that being said, before I dial into that, I want you guys to think about beginning with the end in mind. One of the big challenges everybody has, and by the way, I'm not a real estate agent today. My son is a real estate agent. I see Kathy in the comments is asking if I'm LPT Realty. I'm brand agnostic. We work with people from every company out there. My son happens to be an LPT agent though, in Washington State. That being said, guys, I want you to think about the end. When are you going to retire? What's your exit strategy? Why am I asking you this? I'm asking you this because most of you are standing next to a waterfall of money and you're not even getting wet. And that waterfall of money is investing in real estate. Most of you are not buying real estate and you need to be. Guys, you write this down. Be my own best client. be my own best client. You guys need to be buying stuff. And by the way, if you want to stop paying federal income tax, guess what you've got to do? You've got to be buying real estate. Most of you guys are spending more in federal income tax. In fact, I'll bet everybody on this call is spending more in federal income tax than I am. I pay zero taxes. Why? Because I buy a ton of real estate, and using that real estate, I can use depreciation, I can use accelerated depreciation, and I can eventually use the growth of my portfolio to not have to ever pay taxes. Guys, the only way you're going to get to that point is, number one, you got to be buying real estate. You got to start doing that right now. Number two, to get to a point where you can afford to buy real estate, if you're doing 0 to 25 transactions a month right now, you're just trying to figure out, how do I even get a transaction closed? How do I get money coming in? If you're doing 25 to 75 transactions, you're thinking to yourself, my gosh, not only do I got to lead generate for myself, follow up with leads myself, convert leads myself, I got to hire other agents to do the same thing, and I got to start growing a team. But the problem is that in order to provide me and them with the systems, tools, technology, support, staff, leads, all the things we need to be successful, all of that costs time, effort, energy, and money. And guess what? As I'm into what we call tier 2, that's that 25 to 75 transactions a year point. Guess what happens? I'm spending all this money on all that stuff, and all the while my production's going down. So guess what? I have less money in tier 2 than I had in tier 1. Then I start getting into tier 3, that's 75 to 150 transactions a year. Now I can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Now I can start writing a check to get some business to come in. But here's the thing, guys. All the way from tier 1 to the end of tier 3, and the end of tier 3 is about 150 transactions a year, right? All the way during that time, I have to do what nobody wants to tell you you have to do. And this is the part that sucks. This is the grind. And that is, you got to get up every freaking day and you got to make calls. And 4 hours a day, I'm talking part-time. Watch this. Whatever the average sales price is in your market, let's say you're in an average sales price of $400,000. You want to make $400,000 in the next 12 months? It's easy. You can do it part-time. Here's what you got to do. From 8 o'clock till noon every day, you got to make calls, whether it's lead generation, lead follow-up, you got to make calls every day. That should be 90% of your day in tiers 1, 2, and 3. By the time you get into tier 4, you can start paying somebody to do some of this for you. But when you're in tiers 1, 2, and 3, you don't have enough money to pay other people to do this, right? So guess what? You got to do it yourself. And it sucks and it's hard, and we get that. But here's what I'll promise you. If you'll dial it in, if you'll get into that grind first thing in the morning, every single day, the very first thing you do, if you'll follow that perfect daily schedule, there's 5 things you can, I'm going to give you the 5 things that you can do to very easily make your average sales price and gross commission income in the next 12 months, working just 4 hours a day. Super simple. All right, here you go. Write these down. It's very simple. Any one of these 5 things will get you there. FSBOs, expireds, cold calls, open houses, sphere of influence. I'll give it to you again. FSBOs, expireds, cold calls, open houses, sphere of influence. Guys, any one of those things, I'll give it to you one more time. Maybe somebody can type it in the chat for you. FSBOs, expireds, cold calls, open houses, sphere of influence. I will promise you this. If you just do any one of those things 4 hours a day, 100% guarantee $400,000 a year if that's your average sales price in your market. Easy to do. All right. Now, that said, it's easy to say and hard to do. Why? Because everybody's got ADD. And by the way, the number one mistake most of you are making, watch this, type this into your chat. How many of you work from home versus an office? I just want you to type in home or office. If you work from home, type in home. If you work from a physical office where you got to go somewhere to an office, type in office. Look at all this. This is, guys, I'm telling you right now, you're telling the story right now. Those of you that are working from home, you are starting off every day at a disadvantage versus the people that are going to a physical office every day. Getting into that mindset, showing up to that office, being in that office by 7:30 in the morning, by the way, is going to give you a massive advantage, and it's easy to do. Now, I get it. Some of you are working from virtual brokerages. Great. There's nothing wrong with a virtual brokerage, but here's the key. If I can get you to show up in that office every morning at 7:30, and if I can get you to make calls from 8 o'clock till noon, and by the way, if I'm in tiers 1, 2, and 3, that's consumer calls. If I'm in tiers 4 plus, guess who I'm calling? I'm making recruiting calls at that point in time, right? And yeah, you can have ISAs do it too, and you should and will have ISAs doing it too. But at the end of the day, if I can get you to follow that schedule and go to an actual office, your propensity for success will be through the roof, greater than every other agent around you. And it's that simple. All right. Now, that said, go ahead, Barry. You looked like you had something you wanted to add.
No, I mean, just honestly, that having that perspective and having that focus is really just it's a catalyst for growth. And I think a lot of people overlook it because they're so focused on everything that they're not doing that they don't realize that if they just stay the course, they'll accomplish it.
Absolutely. Barry, think about this. Okay, you've recently gotten in really good shape, right? You've been working hard. You're going to the gym. I see you on social on going to the gym. By the way, super proud of you, brother. That's awesome to see. But watch this. Have you noticed results?
Yeah.
Hold on. Did you ever work out at any other point in time in your life?
Yes.
Well, hold on. But you look better now than you looked back then. What's the big difference?
Two things actually. I got a trainer and I work out 6 days a week.
So it's you got the right coaching and you're consistent.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, guys. You put those two things together, game over. Nobody can compete with you. Your only competition will be yourself at that point. Guys, it is really that simple. But the problem is, write this down. Everybody should write this down. Success is boring. Think about that. Success is boring. Look at me. I'm not the most excited guy or, the most exciting guy in the world, right? I'm not the best looking. I'm not the most charismatic, but guess what? I'm consistent. And that's why I've had the results that I've had across my career. Think about this. If you were consistently investing in real estate, if you would have bought just one house per year in the last 15 years, would you even be on this call today? Would you even be in real estate today? You wouldn't need to be. That's the whole point. Guys, I love selling real estate. I truly believe that selling real estate, having a real estate license is like having a license to print cash, okay? It is really easy to make money when you are a real estate agent. Let me rephrase. It's really simple to make money when you're a real estate agent. Here's the thing though. That's active income. The only way you guys are ever going to build wealth is if you actually buy and hold real estate, not flipping properties, although that's great active income. You got to buy and hold real estate. But here's the thing, you can't just do it once in a while. You got to do it consistently. If you're in tier 1, that's that 0 to 25, you should be buying one house per year no matter what, or I should say $500,000 worth of aggregate value. So two $250,000 houses or one $500,000 house. If you're in tier 2, you should be buying $1 million in real estate a year. If you're in tier 3, you should be buying $1.5 million in real estate a year, and so forth. Guys, you have to do this if you want to get out of the rat race and never have to work again. But in the meantime, you're going to have to make calls. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah. So one person asked, how can I buy real estate if I'm barely making money as a realtor?
You don't need money. Watch this. You're a real estate agent. You don't even need cash to buy real estate. Guys, I'm doing a 40-unit complex right now, right? And now I'm writing a check for that, truth be told, but I don't need to. There's so many ways you can buy subject to. There's a million different ways that you can buy real estate zero down. You want to know what the easiest one is for real estate agents today? Super simple. Go out and find a good deal. If you're doing the stuff we're teaching you on the listing side, and guys, you should be crushing it on the listing side. I'll give you some numbers in a second. But watch this. If you're doing what we're teaching you there, you're going to find great opportunities, okay? Austin, my son, Barry knows him really well. Austin just found me one yesterday, right? I'm going to wholesale this particular deal out. We're going to make probably $40,000 on it, and it's going to take me 24 hours. We're literally writing the offer today. We've already got the buyer ready to go for it. $40,000, check, done, boom. I'm out. It's super easy, right? That's one method you could do. But what about this? You find a great deal, right? You find something somebody's willing to sell for 60 cents, 65 cents or 70 cents on the dollar. And by the way, a lot of people would rather have the convenience than more money, right? They'll trade dollars for convenience, and that's okay. Okay. Very good friend of mine, Nick Shivers, does hundreds of these transactions every year, right? Think about this. You find a deal like that. How hard is it to find the buyer? I'll buy it. Barry will buy it. Freaking Howard will buy it. Like any one of us will buy this. Like there's getting the person to put up the money is the easy part. The hard part's finding the deal. And by the way, when you're in the trenches every day and you're going on listing appointments every day, it's easy to find the deals. Let me give you a great example of this. Barry, you know Austin really well.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Austin, yeah, guys, if you're not following my son, you need to be following him. This kid is first year in the business, 19 years old. He listed 97 homes, year 1. Okay, year 2. By the way, looks and sounds like he's still in puberty. Come on. I mean, this kid, like, he's amazing though. And by the way, he's stuck at first. What's that?
He's trying to find a wife. Stop saying that.
Dude, good luck. I mean, none of us is holding out hope that's happening anytime soon. That being said, and no, Jason, I'm not going to be nice to you. I love you, Jason, by the way. I saw you were on earlier. It's good to see you, brother. Jason's another one of our, someone who's come up through the club ball system. in Canada, by the way. That being said, Austin, first year in the business, 97 listings, sucked at it, right? Sounded and looked like he was still in puberty. And let me tell you something, every time he'd open his mouth, he'd butcher the scripting, right? Was terrible at it. Second year in the business, 124 listings. Third year in the business, 164 listings. That was last year. And by the way, how's he able to do this? He's able to do this because number one, he's more consistent than anybody I know in the business. He is just plain, shows up every day, makes his calls, goes on the appointments, doesn't question it. Here's the crazy part, and this is the part you guys can't talk about amongst yourselves, but I can because I'm not an agent today. Here's the crazy part. Average sales price, $600,000. Average length of listing, 12 months. Average commission, 5% to the listing office. Guys, I'm telling you guys right now, you are missing the boat in so many ways in your business. Everybody on this call should be able to double their commissions right now. Every single person. But the problem is not the consumers. It's not what they're considering, what they're wanting to pay. They don't care what they pay. They care how, and then by the way, they don't care what you make. They care what they make. And you guys are super hung up on, oh, I've got to only charge what everybody else in my market charges. Look, if you want to be broke like everybody else in your market, keep doing that. But if you want to change how much you make and you want to change the results you're getting for your clients, you got to have the money to do it. Okay. And that starts with the mindset. You got to get out of your own way. Anyway, that being said, if he can do it, you can do it. Now, once you start doing that, you'll find those deals. I see another one. Yeah, you guys are talking about the scripting. Watch this. Jason, I'm glad you brought that up. Austin was great at scripting today, but guess what? 3 years ago, he was terrible at scripting. And by the way, every one of you, when you start making your calls, you're probably thinking, well, Michael, who am I going to call? That's easy. I'll give you the cadence right here. First of all, every morning, start with your new expireds first. Okay, the new expired. And by the way, watch this. If you call expired listings, generally speaking, if you call them fairly regularly, type in expired in the chat. I want to see how many of you call expireds. This is going to be very interesting. Watch this. Oh, look at that. I don't have a lot of people typing expired in. I have a few people. Okay. Watch this. How about this? Type a number in. What's that?
I'd rather choose spiders, somebody said.
Yeah, I know, right? But watch this. That's actually funny. How many of you called expired yesterday? In fact, I want you to write it and type in the chat. How many hours did you call expireds yesterday? And if the answer is 0, type in 0. Watch this. Let's see what happens now. Look at all the zeros coming out.
I'm surprised at how many people are admitting 0. Like that's because we all know that's the truth.
Well, and by the way, thank you for your transparency. But here's the thing. Here's what I want people to get out of this. Guys, everybody thinks that expired listings, that everybody's calling them and it's highly competitive and all this. You want to talk about the easiest way to make money right now? Call expired listings. They are easier now than I've seen. I've been doing this since 1991. I've never seen a market where expired listings are easier to get than right now. Never in my career. Guys, it is so easy and it's freaking easy money. You can go out, you can get them, you can sell them, guys, it's not hard today, but you got to pick up the phone. And that's the part that nobody wants to do. So that's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to be the guy that, I'm not the most liked guy in this industry. Okay. That's Barry. Okay. I mean, let's be honest, right? And look, Barry, we all love you, brother. Like to know Barry is to love Barry. I'm the exact opposite of Barry. He's too nice for sales. I'm a jackass, right? Like it's two completely different ways of looking at it. But here's what I can promise you. I can promise you this. If you will listen to the hard words and if you will do the hard thing and that's show up every day and make your calls from 8 o'clock till noon, guaranteed you will be one of the highest producing agents in your market and you'll make it through the next couple of years and you'll come out on the back end making more than ever. And look, if you can start coupling that with technologies like Follow Up Boss and Ylopo, game over, game over. Like you've now accelerated how fast you can grow and how far you can go. And there's Howard. What's up, Howard?
Going on, Michael? Good to see you.
I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, we got to make it back to one of your great conferences.
That dude, at that, and I got to get down there and visit in the villages, brother.
Actually, Michael and I were talking about the conferences. He's got a few he's scheduled, so we're excited about it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Listen,
all right, well, there you go.
Michael, I did put Austin's link to his Instagram in the chat. If people, there was a lot of questions, a lot of, curiosity around what you're talking about. If somebody did want to reach out to you and have a deeper discussion around some of these topics, what's the best way for them to do that?
You know what? I'll tell you what, I'm going to make this easy because look, I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to waste your time. Don't waste mine. If you guys are serious about connecting with me and you actually really want to have a real conversation and you're really serious about taking your career to the next level, I'll give you my cell phone number. Send me a text message. This,
Okay.
and please don't give this out. Like, don't put this
Don't
on
give
the
it out
internet
to
or
a
anything like
webinar
that,
where
guys.
1,000 people have registered. Got it. Okay. What's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
number?
Well, here's the thing. I'm just telling you, like, if those of you that are serious, then fine. Shoot me a text. My cell phone number is 206
206
300
300
6453.
6453.
Yep. 206 300
It
6453.
automatically
Shoot me a
charge per
text.
minute or anything like that, or
Dude, listen, you know what? I love that you said that because, dude, if there's one thing I can't stand in this business, it's the whole let me get as much money as I can out of people and charge by the minute. Oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna, don't even get me started on that garbage.
yeah,
Listen, guys,
absolutely.
you don't need to pay ridiculous money to learn what you need to learn in this business. Okay. You need to use the right technologies. Ylopo is one of them. Follow Boss, by the way, is very good. Austin just switched to Follow Boss, by the way, loves it.
Good.
But you need to use those right. What's that?
I actually take credit for that.
Dude, and actually I blame you for that in a good way. So, but the other thing, guys, here's the thing. What you guys have to do is stop taking advice from people that have never done what you want to do. If you're going to take advice from anybody, by golly, they better be where you want to get, and they have, or have been there, and they had better have done it in a way that you want to do it. And stop looking at these big producers and thinking, I got to do what he's doing. No, you don't. You need to do what he or she did to get there. You don't need to do what they're doing today. They're at a different level in their business. You got to focus on what it takes to get to that level.
Dude, Michael, this was amazing. Added so much value. You put your personal cell phone in the chat. I know that that's people are going to be able to reach out to you. Thank you for always pouring into the industry. We appreciate your time today, brother.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. So, by the way, absolutely. Gabe, hello, brother.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
So, Jufeng Ji, you know, look, the last two products we've gone over were cool. Like they really are. Personally, I'm really excited about the Google Maps product. But I personally, I can just tell you that what you're about to go over next has revolutionized my business. So I'm going to get out of your way. Go ahead and share what you're going to share next.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me back. Yeah, so the last thing I want to talk about today is Ylopo AI Squared, right? And this has been our Ylopo baby for like 7 years now, right? And it's the simple idea that we've been generating leads, you know, Howard, myself, you know, across 2 different businesses for, 15 years now. I mean, probably managed $200 million of advertising, 200 million, right? And through all of that effort, we would generate all of these opportunities, but we would see the drop off in conversion in the lead follow up, right? And so we have been on a quest at Ylopo to how to solve that gap of working your leads in an automated way. And we started doing that in 2019, I think, with the release of AI texting, way before there was ChatGPT and all of these different great AI models that has transformed the way these communications happen. And about 2 years ago, we complemented that after the rise of the LLMs with AI voice, right? And today, AI Squared is a system that employs texting, voice, email, and website engagement in a full loop to make sure that all of your leads are nurtured with human-like AI assistants, right? They are your AI ISA that are working all of your leads, right? And, you know, I'm going to talk to you about, show you, I could show you what AI texting and voice looks like in practice. We show this all the time. A lot of you probably heard those demos. So I'm not going to actually demo for you guys what AI text and voice looks like. I want to kind of you guys to hear from our clients how this is impacting their business, which I'm going to play a video for you guys in a second. But the traditional way we think about leads is you have new leads and database leads, right? And we treat those in different ways. New leads, we want to make sure we have a cadence on them for 90 days. We are aggressively texting and calling all of those people. And for database leads, we are basically picking and choosing the leads that are inactive, right? And reaching out to those people on your behalf using our algorithm, right? So what we typically find is that if you had 5,000 leads, about 20 to 25% of those leads will be active. They're looking for homes, they're responding to your emails, all that good stuff. Well, we're communicating to those people in a certain way. That's fine, right? Where AI Square is now really shining is the 75% that are inactive, have no online interactions whatsoever, right? What we're doing with our platform is we are picking 40, 60, 80, 100 of those inactive leads a day, and we're texting and calling those leads on your behalf to create activities for you, right? And so, a couple of major innovations has allowed this, to flourish in the way that it's flourishing. The first is AI modeling, right? the metrics that we track internally, the most important holy grail metric is of conversations that we have with consumers, what percentage of them are ready for follow-up, meaning they're ready for an agent to talk to them, right? And our traditional model, which by the way, pretty darn good, 25% of conversations resulted in ready for follow-up rate. Our newest model, we are at 54%, right? So if you take away the people who opt out, right, and just want to have legitimate conversations, half of those people get to a point where an agent is ready to, or the consumer is ready to engage with an agent, right? And once they're ready to engage with an agent, instead of just leaving it in your court to call these people, or AI voice platform will actually do that for you, right? So as soon as these leads are engaging via text message, that creates a high intent signal for us. We treat those leads as important leads to call right away, and we disposition those leads into hot leads that we live transfer to you, nurture leads that we organize for future follow-up, so you don't have to worry about it. We're going to have a cadence set up to follow up with those people. And if they're bad leads, we will opt them out. We will make sure they're not communicated with. We will archive them and so on and so forth, right? So we're basically using AI as a ISA that filters your leads to give you the best opportunities to nurture the leads that need to be nurtured longer, and then disqualify the leads that should be disqualified. So let me play a video for you of how clients are feeling and using AI voice in practice.
So we had nearly 4,000 leads. In a 5-day time frame, we reached about 1,000 people on the phone using this product, 49 live transfers to our agents. All our agents had to do was answer the phone and pick up the business. The results from that, of course, we had 3 solid buyers, we had at least 1 listing, and tons of nurtures from it.
So we started with 4,397 leads, and the phone just kept ringing and ringing. We have 12 units that we have closed as a result. This has been an amazing experience.
Over 130,000 calls have been made to our 36,000 person pond, and over 9,500 people answered the phone. We had 227 live transfers where our team spoke to a real person and had warm conversations. Also, with our average GCI just over $10,000, that's over $50,000 of commissions.
This is the ultimate leverage. It's insane to be able to have this kind of conversion.
And we intend to continue going further.
To have this kind of business that is just teed up for us, and all we have to do is answer the phone, and it's a slam dunk for us all day long.
So it's been an incredible experience.
So, I think this speaks for itself in terms of, how AI, text, and voice work together for your database. We are, releasing our full database product in mid-September next month. But if you're interested in seeing kind of like actual demo of how all of this works and how it works in concert with your database and new leads, just scan this QR code again and talk to our team. Whether you're an existing client or a new client, we'll show you how all of it works in the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, and as Chris is, hopefully, go ahead and turn your camera on, Chris, and we'll introduce you. And as he's doing that, what I want to say here is I used to have 9 human ISAs for my organization. As a result of this technology, I've been able to reduce and find 7 of the 9 new jobs across the country, and that reduced it to 2. And the result of that for me is a reduce in hard costs. But what was surprising was the increase of conversion. I think it's a mixture of the fact that people that are texting, the likelihood of them answering the phone, as you can see from the data, it goes up. And while texting, getting leads that my agents were getting notifications saying like, John, just talked to AI and converted it, that's great. But knowing that AI is then calling in the midst of those conversations, this is what I wanted you to go over. I'm so glad you took a second to go deep. Jamie also put a link in the chat for people to know more about it, because this is a really revolutionary technology. So thank you, G, so much.
Awesome.
All right, Janelle, you're muted, actually. It's okay.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I was.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Chris, it's so good to see you. So for anyone here who does not know Chris Drayer, he's the co-founder of Reevaluate, and Reevaluate is a super amazing platform. It actually helps real estate agents and lenders identify who in their database is ready to move, or who's likely to move rather. And one of the cool things I remember you telling me was the the D's, right? The D's, the major life changes, the death, divorce, diamonds for engagement, diplomas for graduation, downsizing, and there was another one too, but maybe you could talk about that.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
great. Awesome work. Thanks.
Yes, I remember that. So, yeah, so we're excited to talk to you today and tell us what you want to share with us.
I think all those D's are in this good book I was reading just earlier. I'm not sure, but I'll have to go back and check.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Nice plug.
Yeah, man.
So excited to have you, Chris.
Thank you for having me. Is my screen showing up okay there, Barry?
Yeah. The 93% problem, going from overlooked to overbooked. I'm interested immediately, so I'm excited to see where you're going here.
It's catchy. Cool. Well, yeah. So I am Chris Drayer. I'm co-founder and CEO of Revaluate, and Janelle already gave me a really nice plug. I appreciate it. But yeah, we leverage data to help you find more deals inside your CRM or inside your database. So pairs really nicely with what G was just sharing with you, obviously, and that's where we're going to go today. Is kind of dive down that trail. I'm actually going to talk to you first about a case study that we just did that's really impactful. That's where we got that 93% number that I'm going to dive into. I'm going to show you how to do some stuff by yourself on your own, some DIY tips, and then I've got a free offer at the end for you here. So first and foremost, I am really glad to be here with you guys because you guys are the best. Clearly, you're very knowledgeable, smart, good-looking crew. Because you're here right now, and that's awesome, and I'm thrilled. I have another fact for you, and that is that all of you guys have mint condition databases that are perfect. They are spotless, and you have all of your records well organized. They're clean, they're up to date, and you regularly detox all of those people in your database that are bad, and you maintain your CRM, and there's no problems and no flaws in your database whatsoever, correct? And if you want to agree with me in the chat, that's cool. You can, but I think I know the reality, and the reality is
a lot of crying, laugh crying emojis.
Yeah. It's filthy, and you know what? That sucks, and also that's reality, and you're not alone. And I know you're not alone because of this case study that we did. So we're going to talk about. We're going to get a little dirty. I hope that's okay with you guys. We're going to talk about data.
With you, yes. If Gabe said that, I would say no. No, I'm just kidding. He's on here, so I can pick on him.
Good job. Excellent, Gabe. So I need to do one of these with Hellickson, truth be told. But
I agree.
We did. He gave me his phone number, so now I can text him and shoot him a note. So we did this case study with Tom Ferry and his team, and I'm going to kind of dive into what we did there just in the past year. In this case study that we did with his group, we looked at 12 months of data, and we had 500,000 contacts from agents that were in his coaching program from 7 states, so pretty broad. And this was from individual agents, mom and pop teams, medium-sized teams, to giant, mega, huge, enormous Jupiter teams, right? So really broad spectrum, but we got 500,000 contacts from this to go into this study to look at the data. And here's what we found. Not surprising to you guys, we found duplicate data. We found fake contacts. There were lots of emails that bounced, or there were incorrect emails that were like .kerm instead of .com, like just junk. Lots of suspicious contacts. For some reason, there's a bunch of real estate agents that are in your databases in general, right? In this study, we found lots of that. But if you got like Bart Simpson or Daffy Duck in your database, which everyone has, they're not going to buy a home. They need to be moved on out, right? Same with anything at profanity.com, right? You've got that lead has come into your system at some point and it needs to be pulled out. There's missing data. Holy cow. So of those 500,000 contacts, half of them, 250,000, were missing physical addresses. And I have news for you. These people were in real estate. They're in the real estate business, and they didn't have the physical addresses of the properties that are the real estate. And I find something really terrible and troubling about that. And that needs to be addressed in these people's databases. So really revealing information coming out of this case study. The big part, the 93%, is the terrible part, which is that we found loads and loads of listings. We found, on average, that agents had missed 93% of the transactions, of the listings in their database over a 12-month period.
Jeez.
90, yeah.
Man.
So if you can imagine how many transactions you did and then figure out what that is 7% of 100 of, you have that many more transactions on average in your database that are happening as listings right now over the last 12 months. This is the 93% problem, and this is a huge problem. It's also a huge opportunity. When we took a step back, that 93% came to 5,161 listings, $75 million ballpark of commissions, and $2.5 billion in volume over a 12-month period out of only 500,000 contacts. And it's worse than that, because as I mentioned before, only half of those 500,000 contacts had physicals. So the reality is those dollar amounts are out of 250,000 contacts. There's loads of volume of transactions in your databases right now. So why? What happened to them? Where'd they go? Well, mathematically, we know we can pull out 10% of people on average move every year. So in your database, 10% of that goes bad every year. That is to say, 10% of the people have the wrong address, if you had one, in your database because they've moved to a new address in that year. Your direct mail is not going to work to them. Your AVM is not going to work if you don't have their correct physical address. Another 20% of people change jobs every year. It's more like 25% actually of people change jobs every year. So if you've got an email address and your email address is bob@sony.com, Bob's not at Sony anymore, right? You're not going to be able to reach Bob anymore. That's a bad email address. 25% of your emails go bad every year. It's just, you can't do anything about that. That's the nature of people moving. Things change. The other big portion that we have to think about is friggin' Barbara. Barbara beat you to the listing and she went and had coffee with those people, and Barbara across town won all those listings because she's reaching out and having coffee with the right people. So part of it's math, part of it's Barbara. I don't know what you do about Barbara, by the way. I don't have a solution. Have more coffee, I think is the right answer. So what are we going to do about it? That's where we're going to go here. So we suggest doing an audit. So this is probably going to make you fall asleep, but bear with me, it's only like 90 seconds here. I suggest that you audit all of the contacts and data in your databases. And I know that you've got stuff in your phone, you've got a spreadsheet, you've got Post-its. Old school people have a Rolodex. Young kids, I'm not going to tell you what that is. But all these different databases, you've definitely got like probably Follow Boss, maybe you've got an older CRM too. They're all different. They're all duplicate. It's all junk because it's all not all in one space. You need to run an audit. To do so, we suggest that you organize, merge, and format all of your contacts into one spot. You can get a VA to help you out with this. You can have an assistant help you out. Get them all into one file. Tally up the total number of contacts that you have. And you're trying to get to, ideally, the holy grail is sort of like a complete record check so that you've got 4 different pieces of contact information. You've got their name, their email, their phone, and their physical. That would be ideal. Maybe even have Facebook or Twitter or whatever also. That would be really cool too. But if you've got those 4, you're in a really good spot. Not many people have all 4 of those. I've looked at Barry's data. He certainly does not have all 4 of those in his database.
Yeah, you've had my data for a long time.
We also recommend that you check and see who has moved. It doesn't make sense to be marketing to people that just moved and just bought a house in the last 12 months. That's not super high priority, at least not the typical type of marketing. Maybe there's a different play to go from a referral or checking in type marketing. And then, as we were talking about before, it would be really handy if you knew how valuable your database was. And in this audit, you ought to be able to determine how many transactions happened in the last 12 months. That's what we suggest that you do. The next step would be to go ahead and edit your records. So detox it, pull those Bart Simpsons out, pull the profanity out, deduplicate it. You want to verify the addresses. So address verifications, I'll get into that in a second. You want to remove bounces and remove suspicious. So a little more detail on those. The deduplication is something that a lot of software has built in right now. I know Follow Boss has a pretty good setup for doing that. I'm confident Ylopo does as well, Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're running off of like a Google Sheets, there's a little tool that Google has built in that's simply remove duplicates. I've got it on the screen there. You can grab a screenshot of that if you'd like. But they have a built-in tool that'll help you consolidate. Then you want to verify physical addresses. So there's kind of two tools to do there. One is you can go to your title rep and you can get a list of all the addresses in your neighborhood, which is super valuable. You should have that on day one as a real estate agent, in my opinion. What's your farm? Get all the physicals, have that in your database because that's a known entity that you have. Number two is to take any of the contact records that you have and again, have a VA go and run those contacts through the county records. And your county has a website. They're all different, but you can all plug in an address and see who lives at that address, and you can verify it. Time consuming, yes. Valuable, yes. I don't think it's the most efficient use of your time, but you could pay someone to do that if you're at that spot. And then bounce check. So when we were talking about Bob at Sony, that's a bounced email. So if you send a whole bunch of emails to people that have bounced, so if 25% move each year and you haven't done an audit of your database in the last 3 years, you've probably got a whole ton of contacts in your database with bad emails that are bouncing. When you send bounced emails, Google is watching. I hate to tell you this. Google is watching you.
Got 3 minutes, Chris. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
I appreciate that. Google is watching you, so you want to remove those bounced emails. Pull those out. That's the next step there. After you've gone through that process, we recommend that you listen to your records. We're a little pun here, but we're talking about talking to and interacting with your contacts. So whether they're on Facebook or in real life. Janelle already
there they are.
Shared. There it is. So death, disease, divorce, diaper, diamonds, diplomas, downsizing, discretionary income, the daily grind, and dumpsters. Dumpsters is my favorite. Agents told me they would drive around the neighborhood, look for dumpsters, and it was very frequently someone that was moving. That's one of my favorites. But these are the life events that you ought to be listening to people on Facebook and seeing when these life events pop up because they are more likely to move.
And what does dumpster stand for?
That's the literally driving around looking at dumpsters and saying, oh, there's a correlation between having a dumpster in your driveway and moving. So grandma died, or they're refurbing, or they're throwing stuff out. Yeah.
Okay.
In the suburbs, not so much the city. And then you want to automate this process. So pulling in Ylopo's Y priority and targeting those folks using the AI that G was talking about, using the evaluate score to do the heavy lifting so you can prioritize who to talk to. That's sort of your step. That's your workflow. Audit, edit, listen, and automate that data as you're going through it. So now, final part. What is in your database? You can do what we just suggested and showed you how to do on your own. But what I'd like to offer you is a free data audit. So if you use this QR code, if you type in that URL, we will do all the audit stuff that we just talked about for you for free. We'll tabulate, we'll show you the holes, we'll show you all the transactions that happened in your database over the last 12 months. We'll show you the agents that listed those transactions over the last 12 months, the dollar amount. We'll even map out all the contacts that you have. We'll show you the gaps and your opportunities and all of that for free.
That's a significant value. I mean, because there's a lot of hard costs when you started going through all the different things you're layering. That's a lot of value. So that's huge. And I know the work that you've been able to do in my database and exposing missing things, of course, the reevaluate move score and all that. It's been a source of revenue for two businesses actually. So we appreciate you taking the time. I think as an industry, we're always so focused on new leads. Having a service like this that goes through these different layered aspects of your database, I think it helps us to kind of water our lawn instead of looking for new and different. So I appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah, you're welcome, Barry. Yeah, there's tons of opportunity inside your database. And if you'd like to reach out, I'll do just like Michael. There's my cell phone number. You can shoot me a text. If you want to grab time on my calendar, you can use the URL right there to grab time.
Unusual. That's amazing. All right. All right, Chris, thank you so much. I know, just leave that up for just another maybe 10 seconds as Gabe and Livia, or whenever I don't know when she's supposed to turn on, but that's Chris's info and that gracious offer, revaluate.com / what was it?
Free.
That's hard to remember, actually. Free. Oh, there it is right there at the top. Revaluate.com / free for that data audit. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All
Chris.
right. My good buddy, Gabe, one and only Cordova. Really excited to be connecting with you and have you go over some stuff today, buddy.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And you know what I'm even more excited about is a little bit of last minute change. Special guest, Miss Livia Monteforte. Thanks for joining me, Livia.
Yeah. You know, it's
Hello,
like
hello.
you knew the press was going to be good. Now it's like it just.
Yeah.
I'm you know, I was looking at the lineup and it's been incredible so far. Making notes, I actually added a few things to the little bit that I'm going to be doing from things that were said earlier. But when I was thinking about this, I'm like, man, this is such a great topic that I'm like, I want somebody who's literally in the trenches every single day, even more so than I am, implementing and talking about this, to just really everybody to relate with. And every time Livia speaks, everybody's taking notes, taking pictures of stuff. So chatted with her yesterday. She's not even at home. She's traveling. So thank you for joining. But
Yes, my
Livia, when we
pleasure.
talk about this, we just kind of started talking about it yesterday. I wish we had recorded it. We could have just brought it and hit play.
Right.
It was incredible. But I want to just kind of basically reiterate that. And when we're talking about this topic and what's going on, this is something that's been near and dear to your heart and what you're doing, from AI to ROI. So I just kind of want to talk about what you've been doing and how you're adopting this thought.
Yeah, so I love all this think tanking and figuring out and how to take it next level. And I think all of us in the trenches can agree it's amazing. We need these tools, we need this tech, but it's like, how do I identify my weak spots? I identify where money is literally falling through my fingers, as the last presenter just showed us. My gosh, 93%. How do I turn that into money? Like, it's wonderful to know that, but then how do I adopt it? And that was the missing piece that Maverick has been for me. So it's, how do I take where we're not what we could be and quickly fix it in a way that we can see ROI fast? And I know fast and quickly sound like a dream in real estate, but this truly does give you the ability to not only identify the spots, but also quickly shift focus. So there were two things I kind of wanted to focus on. I'll let you kind of direct it, Gabe, but the two things I want to focus on because the moment I implemented Maverick, the moment I started to see money from these two things.
Yeah, I love it. And I want this to be mostly you. So, I mean, so it's from AI to ROI. So let's start on the AI side, I guess. I mean, and, you know, we're seeing it in every aspect of our life, right? Everything that we're doing. But when you and I talking, like, you had some very tangible, here are the things we are doing, and here's what we are seeing. So I think let's start with, what are you doing with AI? Because the result is the ROI. So I'd love for you to just kind of share. And I mean, you were even down to some examples yesterday. So I'd love for you to just kind of share part of that. And this is your show. I'm just here.
Okay, good. Then I'm just going to run with it. So with the AI, what is amazing? Okay, so team lead, or I'm going to just put a pin in maybe not team lead, because I do this myself, right? So team lead as running a team. You want to get your agents going. You want them to feel like they're not missing opportunities. Now, the pin in the not team lead is, let's say you're a solo agent and you want to not have missed opportunities. This AI coaching is incredible for both. So if you are getting started in real estate, if you are well-versed in real estate, if you are finding it hard to connect with people or pivot given market changes, we all need that kind of warm-up. The problem as realtors is when we do a warm-up, we're often doing it in real time with the client. And when we screw that up, that's money just literally sifting out of our fingers. So how much better to have the opportunity to do the warm-ups, to figure out how to pivot, to get it not a script you have to learn. Like, I love what other people say, but when I try to say it the way they say it, it doesn't always feel genuine. It feels like I'm saying someone else's. When I can absorb what it is that I'm trying to pivot around and say it in my own words, in the way that I explain it, now customers know I am sincere, I am genuine, and I am their advisor. And you know me, I want to be the advisor. So with this AI coaching, and the new rollout is literally mind-blowing. I mean, I brought it to the office and I was showing the other Compass agents in the office, and I had one agent actually say, how could I join your team? She has her own team, but this is so awesome. So you call in to an AI number, you literally enact with a potential buyer or seller exactly what people are saying in the market. It's AI, so it's responding in time to you. It's not a pre-scripted set. You respond to them, and then when you're done with the phone call, you receive coaching notes. And it's amazing. The coaching notes are not, hey, you failed. The coaching notes are really well done on all of these. And you could apply asking a few more questions, finding out that there's a little more room for the person to talk. I mean, you're going to say, yes, obviously, look at you right now, Livia. But my biggest thing that I get in my coaching notes is providing them time to respond. I'm talking more than I'm letting them talk. And I'm thinking I'm letting them talk, but I'm just so excited about where we can go with this conversation and the advice I can provide that I need to kind of ease up a little. And I've learned that just from the AI coaching. It has been amazing. And then also when you're running a team and you have agents and you want to know, how do I train them? How do I praise what they do really well? But how do I help them grow to be even better with other things? Not criticizing, growing, adapting, perfecting. You can literally use the coaching notes from their actual calls. So you can see what they're doing in real time. You can see how they're responding. You can see what the objections they're receiving are. And you can just hone in on the little micro shifts that they can do to be even better at what they do.
I love it. And I was just kind of showing there's some visual here as well. And you were talking about just some of the additions. So I know a lot of people on here already have Maverick. Maybe some are learning about it. And we've heard speaker after speaker already, Cheplak hit this as well, like changing what we're saying, how we're saying it. We might not need more leads. We might need to start changing what we're saying or learning how to say what we need to say, to your point, Livia, but say it in a different way, something that's comfortable with us, but we still have the same goal in mind, right? Setting that appointment or winning the deal. So what I really love about what we just released this last week, if you have Maverick, this is, I believe, still in beta, should be released to everybody if it's not already. We're really close to it. But it used to just be PPC and Portal, right? There were just two options in here, which is great way to start. But we know there are other things happening right now. As we started coming out, and there's even more coming. So lead activity reports, all the priority alerts coming from Ylopo. How do I speak to them when they view a home valuation? What if they say they're renting? What if, you know what, we're not doing a lot of new lead generation, but I have a big sphere of influence. How do I reach out to people that I know or that know, like, and trust me and let them know I'm in the business? People at the open house, first time home buyer. Here's one of my favorite. I'm going to kick it back to you because I know Barry's going to be watching the clock on us. A lot of people have been licensed maybe less than 5-6 years. It's been a strong market. Maybe agents that have not had to learn how to call
this is a foreign conversation.
Right. It's crazy. We've listened to some of these calls, calling and talking about price reduction. You just select it. And what's cool about all these different scenarios, though, when you select them, we now already have different personas in here, right? The data-driven skeptic, emotional, financial pressure, market timing, like all of these different
blame
things.
deflector. The blame deflector is a good one.
Yeah, it's massive. Who was it, Barry? I think it was just Hellickson that was asking about expired, and it was 0, 0, 0, 0.
Lots of zeros.
I'd love to go deeper into chat if you guys want to volunteer. If you were more comfortable and knew how to do it, because maybe you haven't, because for the last several years we haven't had a lot of expired listings.
Right.
Would you like to go over it? Right. Look at the different scenarios and personas now that come with expired. So if you were more comfortable speaking to this, would you be more likely to call and pick up? I mean, hey, they want to sell. They've been on the market. So anyway, I wanted to give them a visual, Livia, about what you're talking about, the different personas.
And I'm just going to throw out there too, this is amazing. So the way I mentally do it for the team and myself, everyone gets uncomfortable because it almost feels like I want to score this out of the park. Try to fail your first call. Literally do everything wrong that you possibly can. It's going to get all the shakiness off. You're going to get into your groove. Then the second call, just be natural. You're going to be surprised at how much you already do really well. And then those little coaching notes let you really take your game next level.
Yeah, I love that. And you were talking about, where it breaks it down as we're going through, it's either going to scrub the calls right out of Follow Up Boss and let you know if you're on track. You were talking about the ask versus fill. Are you talking too much? Are you letting them talk? All of the objections, these are coming right out of the calls that are in here, all the way down to the breakdowns for everything that you need, right? You're even talking about why are some agents scoring 8s, some are scoring 0s? Where do we need to coach them? Appointment set, what's needed? All that data is in there. So I want to get to the second half. We're talking about AI. So that's the part of AI that you guys have been adopting and using. And one of the parts, I guess.
One of them.
What have you been seeing for the ROI part?
So you mean with the second part?
Yes, from AI to ROI. What's happening either from a team lead or even let's talk to the agents.
Yeah. So I want to throw out, so ROI on this is huge, right? Because you're taking opportunities. So we just learned 93% are missed opportunities in our database, which means we're not saying something. We need to. So we need to touch on that. We need to bring that back. We need to get the conversations productive. You're making the calls anyway. You're taking your time. Your time is worth money. Make money off of them. So that's with the AI coaching. Like, come on, let's just be the best at what we do. The other money maker, and I mean fast ROI, this is like, you know me, I'm obsessed with this, the nudges. I don't know if people have seen the rules and alerts. I'd like to share in real time if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right, so let me just pull up my screen. All right, so can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is leads and alerts. You go right to agent reports. When you click down, it's rules and alerts. Now, this is you're looking at your system. And the beauty of this, just take this with a grain of salt because I have really curated this to be what my team needs and to be what we use, which is also amazing. You can go through and make this specifically what you want it to be. Think of this as you are a top executive and you have a full-time assistant sitting right outside of your door, and you have paid this assistant to make sure you don't miss a single time that you're supposed to show up in real time. That's what this is. These nudges and alerts allow you to be exactly where you need to be when you need to be there without having to remember and have the mental exhaustion of who am I forgetting. This, had I had this 26 years ago, I would probably already be retired, because this is the money maker, literally. So person called us and we haven't connected. Person texted us and we haven't connected. See the red bar. It's telling you that someone has fallen into that. So 34% past due. You click on the nudge. Now I have preset, it's not gonna, of course it's not gonna work here. But let's say you wanna say use template, and I have them preset and copied. So I've created templates that are suggested. I put it in, so, suggested, use this template, put it out, and you hit confirm. 2 people are going to be nudged for 12 leads. This is a sticky note on a file, bringing it top of mind. This is not disciplinary. This is not you're not doing something you should. This is you are a rock star. You are working your tail off in the industry, and these are opportunities to make you even more money. And these nudges, when I tell you, I am negotiating $6 million in offers today, all 3 were nudges, Gabe. All 3.
You told me that yesterday. I'm like, holy crap.
It doesn't mean I'm a bad agent, that they weren't top of mind. It means that I'm tied up with other clients as well. But when you get the nudge, now they weren't just text us and haven't connected, but if you go through, we have current clients. Don't let them forget you. Why? They're spoke with. There's been no outreach in 2 weeks. Never connected. Next transactions, personal nurtures. And then my favorite, I'm able to add it based on where they're coming in. So these are tags. They're coming in from Fellow. They've requested a callback. Not coming in from Fellow, sorry. They've been scrubbed by Fellow. They request a callback. Zillow, property tour requested, high intent. I mean, if you're a flex agent, you know how much work it is to stay top of mind with all the people coming in. Use this to remind you when you have to show up.
Yeah.
It is amazing when, and again, I said, you know, everyone thinks like, oh yeah, for a team. No, single agent. I use it myself. I'm a producing team lead. I use the nudges to remind myself who to contact.
I think that's massive, right? You've gone in and customized these. First of all, everybody can customize their rules. You're a flex team, Zillow team, whether you're realtor, whatever it is. And I think that's important because a lot of people are like, oh, this is only for big teams. If you're a solo agent or small team, husband, wife, whatever it is, and you're producing, all the more reason why you should have an AI sales manager finding missed opportunities to bring them up and surface them in your face. So you're not missing them, right? So you're not having to go combing. Like what I love is this works in hand with Follow Up Boss. We have our smart lists and all that. I love them, but this goes and finds the best of the best in those smart lists and says, these are first. These need to be first. If this
You're going to do it all. And when you do it, remember, they're already off the smart list too. So it's not like I have to work through my nudge list and then I have to go repeat. No, you're working all your lists down. You're just knowing who to contact first based on priority.
Yep. I love it. And I know Barry's about to tell us we have 3 minutes. So from AI, you're negotiating 6 million. I don't even know how many millions of dollars you've already closed on this. So AI, for the AI part, AI to ROI, it is the AI coaching, the rules and alerts, which is going through combing, saying, just do this. I also know, and I want to say this, I think you guys are nudging 2 or 3 times a day on the missed calls and missed texts, right?
I do 3 times a day. And I want everyone that goes, oh, you're annoying, Livia, to just wait a second. Let me explain myself. The nudges 3 times a day are based on what category they fall into, right? So I'm not nudging like spoke with customer 3 times a day. I'm nudging, called, texted us, need a response. Like that is just my way. And I've asked my agents, what do you want to be reminded? What do you not want to have to live in your brain space? What do you want to be a sticky note? Because I think as agents, I mean, prospecting is such a huge part of our business. We're meeting new people all the time. We're talking about new leads, but then we're talking about nurturing our database. And that is so important to nurture your database. This is how you're able to be 100% present no matter what you're doing. We're nurturing, we're prospecting, but then we're still working with people. And brain space can't be occupied by all of that equally.
Yep, I love it. And there's a couple of things. Stick around. I know Barry got 2 minutes. I'm not going to be the one that gets us over. All right. So also, I'm going to jump in. So really want to leave you to share. Thank you. Don't go anywhere though, because I also know you're excited about this. We've got our Maverick commercial. I gave you a few of those minutes, but I want to go through because there's some great stuff right now coming from Maverick, right? Talking about the pain, managing teams, managing sales, and even as the age of the individual, managing everything going on. Right? There's constant hunting, the time spent digging, guesswork. I added this one from David at KCM. This was one of my takeaways. People don't believe what you tell them. They believe what they tell themselves. This is why we got to rely on our tech to start telling us what's going on so we don't have to be beating our heads against our computers on our desk to figure out what's going on, right? There is tech to show us that. Agent Snapshot, we just released this last week in beta. This hands down, if you have not talked to Maverick in the last couple of weeks about this, you need to talk to them right away. This is taking the rules and alerts that Livia said. This is taking all your calling, what you need to do for every agent, not just the team lead, so that the agents are seeing this. The team lead can see this for their one-on-ones, right? No having to go do detective work, highlighting what's going on, removes any biases. This is what's happening in the CRM, what's happening with the agent, so you can focus on the coaching and not the searching. All right. Now, I'm going to get through some of these agents. Again, it's going to save you a lot of time, exactly what Livia just said. And I want to make sure that we're understanding. I know I'm going to end on time, Barry, I promise. I'm going to end on time. I want to drive this. All right. We're seeing team after team that is doubling conversion, doubling the appointments because they implemented what Livia just said. And here's what I want to break out. All right, I just use an average sales price, 350. Livia, I know that's a park bench in your market, but I want you to think about this. All right, if you had a sales price at 350 at a 2.5% commission, let's say there's a referral off the top because it's like a flex or something like that. We love our referrals. We're flex teams as well, at least 52. 50-50 split with the agent. That's 26-25 to you. If leveraging AI increases one more deal a month for you, and we know it's way more than that. You just said you're negotiating 6 million, not 350,000. I want you to think about what saving time does for you and increasing conversion. And if that's something you're wanting to do with what's in your database, scan this QR code. Give us 15, 20 minutes to learn what Livia was just talking about, so that you are not just saving time, but you are increasing revenue in what you've got. These are the hard numbers. Why would you continue spending money on lead generation, spending time, which is money digging, and not letting the tech work for you? All right, Barry, I went 1 minute over. I apologize.
Oh,
Livia,
good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, we have just a few minutes, so we had
Sweet.
a couple of questions in the question section.
Yeah.
Regarding price. I'm sure they'll figure out the price when they check the QR code, but broad brush, like what would someone look like? Or what would the cost be if they wanted to have AI train their sales organization, say nudge all their leads, and then manage, those different aspects of your business?
It's going to depend on team size, but I give you the range. It's going to be anywhere from $99 up to, I mean, if you're a Robert Slack like we are, something like that, it's going to be quite a bit higher. I would say scan this and talk to them and see what package for what you need in your business, because maybe what Livia is doing, and the nudging that Livia talked about in the AI sales coach is part of our base package, but chat with them so that you can go in and figure out what works best for you.
Well, yeah, it's really based on team size. Most people spending somewhere between 100 and 1,000 a month. Okay. There are massive teams that obviously spend a bunch more, but for most folks, from solo agent up to sort of decent sized team, you're roughly anywhere from 100 to 1,000 a month.
Yeah, I'll say, even more in the middle, right? I think you'd be shocked when you start looking at this 26-25, and again, that's at 350, a 2.5% commission, a 40% referral off the top, and a 50-50 split. I mean, that's where it's at. And most teams, like I'd say you're more in that 500-600. I would really recommend that you need to just talk to them to see what the holes in your pain are, or the pain in your business are, and fix those holes. But most of the time it's what Livia talked about, and Cheplak hit it, and a few others, right? It's getting comfortable and learning how to speak to the people in a better way, to ask for the appointment, understand what they're doing. There's different scenarios. That's why we've added all those personas to really get to become really efficient, proficient in those areas with those different types of sellers or potential sellers or buyers.
Yeah, because I mean, what I did was, I found out that only 3 out of 10 conversations my agents were having, they were asking to meet as a result of this AI. And so I trained them. And the way I trained them was, hey, call this AI number, this role play number, practice getting the appointment. And from now on, if they have a pulse and a desire to move, schedule a face-to-face. The result was we went from 1 appointment out of 10 conversations to 4. Yeah, like that's an exponential increase in revenue for my organization as a result of just, could I have listened to every conversation myself? Yes. And I would have probably had like a drinking problem or something, because it's so stressful. No, it's just stressful listening to conversations. You know what I mean? I mean, anybody who's been a sales manager knows it kind of sucks.
Yeah, well, it is subjective too, right? It's your thoughts, it's your this, everything's gone now. The agent snapshot alone right now, not only is this going to allow the agent to have their own clarity, see what's coming in so you don't have to get nudged. It's your pacing. What's going on in your database? What are your goals? How are you pacing against that? And if you're a team lead on here, it's not just helping your agents increase this and save you time from having to present this all the time because they've got access to it themselves. Man, we're going to start implementing this now in our recruiting, right? Teams are coming to us, and almost everybody's talking about recruiting. They're coming to us for the leads, for the training, for the accountability, to help do it. And to be able to pull up Agent Snapshot and show them what you're going to put at their fingertips to set their goals, to monitor the activity, to monitor the opportunities, and improve and hone their skills in, it's a no-brainer, right? And we just determined, like, on our average deal size, we're probably below average for most people on this call. Maverick really isn't even an expense, it's an ROI, right? 2, 3, 4x your investment on it. It's that insurance that you got for whatever you own, right? It's really doing all this for you, and that doesn't even calculate how much time is being saved.
And as a smaller team that implemented this, I can assure everyone the ROI is there.
Yeah.
One missed opportunity that you capture back, you're going to end up hiring someone in this role to do one of these aspects and pay them to work, and it will be far more money than just figuring out where the gaps are and quickly figuring out how to patch those gaps. It's very intuitive to be able to tell you your issue may be between the first convo and the appointment. Your issue might be appointment to close. You need to know where that falls per agent. You're training yourself and your team to work smarter, not harder. And
Livia, do you
that's
have some agents that view nudges as annoyances and other agents that view them as opportunities?
so they all used to view it as annoyances, Howard, until I sat down with them and said, okay, you're executive agents, you're out in the field, you're out there running. This is what I can nudge you on, and this is what my suggestions are, but I will change it based on what you need. And the second they saw where the opportunities lay, we collaborated it together. We came up with the plan together. If I don't nudge them 3 times a day, they want to know why. Because now they're understanding. Now, I'm not nudging every rule. Like, I want to reiterate that. But if someone's called or texted you and you were just so busy with client A that you didn't get back to them, what a relief when the system puts a sticky note on the file and goes, hey, Livia, don't forget this person reached out. You show up in a very professional way when they need you.
I think it ties a lot of themes together, like, Cheplak talking about recruiting the right people. I mean, you got to have people that you work with that view these nudges as opportunities, not as annoyances. Like, that's really, if you're a team leader listening, you got to really think about that. How do each of my team members view this? It starts with the team leader, right? Which Livia has obviously worked hard to get it across to them that these are opportunities. And really, you could never have enough of these high quality nudges. It's just more nudges, more opportunities, right? So
I think that's key, Howard. The success I've seen meeting with all these teams from Slack to Anthony Dijon, Livia, things like that, they've turned the rules and alerts as part of their culture into how it's helpful. I'm even seeing teams like, please nudge me on my sphere. I make more on that in most teams, right? So it does come down to the team lead creating it and bringing it as part of the culture to really get that adoption.
All right. Well, I'm really happy to say, Gabe, you totally went over, messed up our entire run of show.
I forced
That's Howard.
I was
No,
the question.
we've just blamed Gabe. Come on, guys. Let's just. All right. Thank
Thanks,
you,
guys.
Gabe and
Thank
Livia. That was
you.
amazing. Really interesting, really insightful. And, for those of you that are on right now, you are in for a treat. Marissa brings a wealth of experience and insight into the industry, managing one of the country's largest teams. She's going to go deep on lead conversion. Specifically, the title that she gave is Focus, Follow Up, and Finish Strong, the conversion plan for your best winter yet. Marissa, take it away.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I was watching the time and I was just like, all right, we can condense.
You're good.
But the product is so amazing that I totally get it. We're using it right now. So really fast before I begin, full plug for Maverick. If you do not have it, make sure that you get with Gabe and his team because it is an absolutely phenomenal product that will change your business. So going into what we're talking about today, first, thank you, Barry, for asking me to speak. And when I was looking at topics, I thought, you know what? Let's share what we're doing on the teams that I work with in preparation for winter. So again, my name is Marissa Canario. I am Director of Lead Conversion Strategy with United Home Group, and I am going to talk to you today about how seasonality can completely go away when we use the right systems. So the really cool part of every single person on this call is that you're using Ylopo and Follow Up Boss most likely, right? And that those two together are the perfect pairing for any lead conversion that you could possibly ever do, number one. Number two is that when you utilize lead conversion strategy, it does remove the seasonality from your business. Every day I talk to agents that say, oh, I hate, like, winter's coming, it gets so slow. What makes winter slow is the fact that you're not working on your follow-up and your systems today. So every single call that we make from today forward is our January, February, March business, right? And every call you don't make is one less deal potentially in January, February, and March. So my focus on my team and what I'm going to share with you today is how we eliminate that completely. It's really interesting because I find that when doing this, the team that we implemented it with first had their best December ever last year. Right? And typically you're not like, hey, what's the best month of the year? December? People are like, what? So, number one, did you know that, and I'm sure you guys have heard this stat before, but forgive me, I have to share it. Speed to lead is one of the most important things. For people that connect with a lead in the first 5 minutes, you are 21 times more likely to have a conversation with that lead than if you don't. And you are 10 times more likely to close that person than you would if you wait. If we let it go 12 to 15 hours, right, we might as well just kind of let it ride for a little while and just keep nurturing it. We'll see it again in 9 to 18 months. And that's what we tell every single person on our team. So number one, going into any season, but especially right now, you have to answer these leads right away. So the stat, Lindsay, is if you contact a lead in the first 5 minutes, you are 21 times more likely to connect, right? So if you're picking up and dialing in the first 5 minutes, you're 21 times more likely to connect with that lead, and you are 10 times more likely to close that lead than after the 5-minute mark. And every day we monitor how fast our connection to that lead is. That's why on platforms out there like the lead aggregators, you have X amount of minutes to grab the lead, and if you don't, they move it because they know that your serviceability of that person goes down really a lot between minute 6 and hour 15. The next thing is that 48% of agents never make more than one phone call.
Wow.
One. So literally they're like, oh, they didn't pick up, and then they just never call back again. Or they were a not right now and they never call back again. Only 10% of agents make more than 3 phone calls. Think about that. 10%. Kathy, I didn't do slides because I'm actually going to upload a document in the success community after this so that you guys can have our plan.
Good call.
Yeah. So you're going to have the full format. The next thing is that the average lead takes 20 attempts to contact. And I actually heard this from Livia, 3 if it's a video text. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. So that's just some stats to get you started so that when you get frustrated with lead conversion strategy, you know that these things take a while, right? Typically on phone calls, we see 20 plus. On text messages, we see 11 plus. And on video message, we're seeing 3 plus. So we'll work that into the conversation today as well. But just know it's time on task over time, right? Like we just have to keep going. And one text, one email, one phone call definitely will not make it. Right before this, I actually pulled what we're doing right now. Right now, phone calls are actually up to 22 for us. Text messages are up to like 17 before we're getting a ton of connection. So I just want you to remember that. So how am I starting a new lead? When a new lead comes into our system, 5-minute phone call, right? We're making the 5-minute phone call. We're making a phone call 1 hour later. This is the standard best practice, and a phone call 3 hours after that. So if you want to write that down, day 1 is 3. We're also sending a video message, and it's just an intro, right? It's, hi, this is Barry. You get into your brokerage, and then you talk about the fact that you're a realtor in, right? That's it. Doesn't have to be fancy. Thank you for browsing my page. I can't wait to connect with you. That's it. Does not need to be salesy, does not need to be anything else, just an intro. And then you also should have automations running where emails start to go out. So we run a 13-day campaign. We're up to 20 in some markets, but I'm giving you the 13. If you're in LA, if you're in Vegas, if you're in Phoenix, we're seeing a little bit more is having to go into this. So 13 to 20 days, that's what day one looks like. Days 2 to 13, we're making 2 phone calls a day, every single day. You can do morning, afternoon, you can do morning, evening, right? You have to mix it up a little bit. We're doing a text message and we're doing an email. The idea is that we get at least 1 video text per week. The cool part is that with Follow Up Boss, I can just pick up my phone, right? Open the app, shoot a quick video, and send it out. The other cool part, and you're probably like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of phone calls. If I'm using the Follow Up Boss app, super simple, right? It's recording, it's giving me my notes, everything's right there. So make sure that you're doing everything through the app because it makes everything far more streamlined. And then text, again, super simple. We have our task, right? We go in, we set everything up in our text libraries. And so we just grab the text that's going out that day and shoot it off. So this is day 1 and then day 2 to 13. If you're in markets that are a little bit more communication needed, like I said, we're seeing it in LA, Vegas, Phoenix, right? We're seeing a lot more communication needed. We just do the same thing for 20 days. Now, what happens after that? So what everybody on this call should be doing is setting up alerts in your system. So if someone's logging in after 15 days of no activity, or if someone is searching a home more than 3 times, right? So they search one particular house, they just keep going back to it. We had one a few weeks ago that was literally 38 times. We know he's interested, right? He didn't log back in just to do that 38 times in less than 24 hours, I promise. The other one is if they share or favorite a listing, right? So we have all of those alerts set up. And when I'm talking to you from here, it's 600,000 leads that we've got tagged this way. When people log in and do those activities, we are going back and rebooting the 13-day plan.
Huh.
Right? Just like they are brand new. So it could be day 30 and they start favoriting things, we're starting over again. It could be day, and this has happened, 2,642. Either way, we are going back and we are starting the whole entire process again because what we have found is that if we can get them on the phone, we can actually convert at around 22%. And I think a lot of the time, if you have a team, you have to have someone watching this because sometimes agents get kind of, it's like noise blind, right? Like the text is going off that you have someone active. You are getting, like multiple things. And so we have myself, we have a team with me that watches for all of that and ensures that everything's getting reintegrated. The 13-day plan, Connie, so I am going to upload this format and then you can just put a comment underneath that with your email, and I'm happy to have my assistant email it.
If I can interject for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, how many teams, Barry or Janelle, do you think that we have out there that know to the percentage, like what percentage they close based on a live conversation? Like Marissa knows that, right? 22%. And it's driving to the conversation. All metrics driving to the conversation, driving to the face-to-face, whether it's conversation, Zoom call, face-to-face, Starbucks, at the home, knowing exactly that you're going to close 1 out of every 5 deals. If you can just drive to that conversation, it's amazing. It's a game changer, right? It's knowing the metrics, which is really ultimately why we built Maverick. Measurement, accountability, visibility. Measure everything, make it visible to everyone on your team, and make everyone accountable to get to conversations. What's your conversation number, right? Well, you're going to bank money on 1/5 of that, right? And yeah, I just think like that's what it's all about, is getting everyone to that point, because it's how all businesses, real businesses, are run outside of the real estate business, right? But we've got the best of the best, like Marissa, who are doing it right here, using the tools, using Follow Up Boss, using Ylopo, using Maverick. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. And I think where that came from, prior to this, I was raised in the car business and then I was in the insurance business, all of which were lead generated businesses. And if we didn't have that data, we didn't have a business. Right. And so as soon as we were able to move all of our data into Follow Up Boss and Ylopo is when it changed everything because we couldn't gauge any of this for years. It was just kind of like guessing. We were throwing a dart and hoping it landed. Right. So, somebody asked the 22%. So what that is of the people that are logging back in, showing activity that we are getting into a call, text, email cadence, right? So 22% of that group of people we can get in front of.
Yeah, you're working what we call down funnel.
Yes,
activity,
correct.
right? You see all of the activity, right? It just all works together seamlessly. I mean, just we're at a point now, and I've been doing this for like 2 decades, right? We're at a point now where you see this down funnel activity. AI has a conversation. Like, I love someone to use the term, it stirs the pot. It stirs the pot, right? Gets a conversation going, right? You can see that in Follow Up Boss. Follow Up Boss digests that, makes a note about it, says, here, press this button for an automated response. So it's giving you all this time to actually, for you to engage in a live conversation. Maverick is nudging you and saying, look, down funnel activity, opportunities, right? So it all kind of working together. The one thing I disagree with that I hear a lot, I've heard it today, not from you guys, like, is sort of, we don't need more leads. But, like Zillow, kind of really smart, like their top of funnel is massive.
Yeah.
It is the biggest top of funnel in the world, right? How many monthly unique visitors do they get?
Wow.
Okay, pure math, right? We talk about numerators and denominators. Their denominator is insanely large, 100 million a month or whatever it is of people on that site. Crazy, right? Well, guess what? If your denominator is so big, you're going to get a lot of like down funnel numerator opportunities. Take even a small percentage of that, and there's a massive number of people raising their hand saying, I want to go see that home tomorrow, right? And so whether you're on a portal lead system or you're not, right? Or you're on Google pay-per-click or whatever you're on, right? Honestly, I disagree with you. I was like, grow your denominator as much as possible. Grow your database as big as possible. Because the larger you grow your database, you can't predict like, I can tell you one thing for sure. If you have 100,000 people in your database, right, versus 1,000, your nudges and opportunities and AI conversations and real conversations is going to be way bigger than the person who has 1,000. Because now there is technology, so you don't have to personally call and text all these people, just 100,000 of them. You're only going to focus on what, Marissa, you and your team are focusing on. The people with a lot of activity, they're basically knocking on your door saying, talk to me.
Correct.
I'm
yes.
sorry,
Yeah.
there ends the sermon, but I'm pretty passionate about it.
You're good.
Yeah.
I am too. So it works out. And, I think that it's interesting because you're right. When, we hear it as far as recruiting, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? Like we hear that as far as organizations. It's the same thing with number of leads. With 600,000 leads, you'd be amazed how many, like we've had to go through. That's over 12
Your
years.
database is 600,000?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So
that is a major asset.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Bankable asset.
And you have to treat it like such, right? And so by putting these systems around even some of the aged leads are my passion. I love them. It's like a contest of how much further we can go, right? When I was on stage in Charleston, we shared a, 11-year-old lead was $10 million in business. And so when you put these systems, and I will share it. So in the Ylopo success community, I will share the cadence of activity and then the actual 13-day plan. There's a lot of emails in here. I don't know if we can grab those or not, but either way, if we can't, if you could just post it again when I put that up.
That's the problem. All these people want your stuff. So
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm happy to give it.
Clone Marissa. We need 20 Marissas.
Well, I'm happy to give it. So when I post it, if you could go back in and put the email up, that would be much appreciated. My assistant, she is going to love sending all these out. But we're more than happy to share it because again, these work just as well, even arguably a little bit better on some of the age leads more than the new, right? Because they've been hearing from you for a long time. And so I'm excited to hear as you use it, how this works for you. This morning, I went back and I pulled the numbers. So this morning, we got about $3.5 million in leads to appointment stage and in front of agents. And so it absolutely works.
Incredible.
And don't be surprised when you see my plan. It's fairly simplistic. I don't do complex scripting.
Barry and Janelle, you guys ending today with Livia and then Marissa. It's like
It was amazing.
2 punch, baby.
It was really good. So much incredible information. If we have time for, there is a quick question here from Kathy. Marissa, if maybe you can guide her here. As a solo agent, if you could only afford 1, 2, or 3 software programs to help with getting your business going, which ones would you choose? It all sounds so expensive. What recommendations do you have?
So first, what I will tell, I'll start with recommendations, then we can talk about the expense piece. So for me, I am a firm believer that you have to work. When I think about software packages, I think about Follow Up Boss, I think about Ylopo, I think about Maverick. The thing is they are all three really, really important to your business in different ways, right? And so, and that's not just because I'm talking to you here, it's because I've used it for 2 years and it's changed the trajectory of the entire business. And so what I would tell you is invest in those three. As a solo agent, right, you are in complete control. You heard Howard, I think you said, Maverick starts at a fairly affordable number. Just get with them and see, right? And they can kind of guide you. A follow-up boss seat for a solo agent is not outrageously expensive. And then what I would do is partner with a lender, with a title company, with warranty, something like that to help you offset the spend for your Ylopo lead. So you can do the whole thing really affordably. And the thing I look at it is if you can earn just one deal a month out of that system, you've more than paid for it. I don't know what market you're in, but literally in any market.
But it does take courage, right?
Yes.
Gary Ashton, as an example, had courage many years ago when he said, I'm going to buy up a lot of billboards in Nashville, Tennessee, right?
They're everywhere.
That's really expensive, right? But he's the largest producer. He's the largest Remax team in the world, right? When you drive down the highway and you see these billboards, whether it's an insurance person or a personal injury attorney or a real estate agent, right? And a lot of folks have done this. They went out on a limb. They spent money. You can't make the mad money unless you spend money. Like you have to spend money on marketing. Otherwise, no one knows you're there, right? Mm-hmm. And yes, it is scary. We get it. And you have to start somewhere. And then you grow. And then you add team members. And then you grow and you add team members. But building that database that Marissa's sitting on of 600,000, I don't want to call them leads, people, opportunities. And the longer they're sitting in their home, the more likely they are to move, right?
Yes.
Right. It's not normal if someone's in their home for 10 years, right? 10-year-old lead is golden, right? So you're just building this asset and it is investing in your business. Like any business has to invest in marketing to grow. That's it. You got to let people know that you're there and that you exist. And you can go guerrilla and you can go super inexpensive and certainly, all right, and do that. But that's business, right? That is business.
Well, guys, Marissa, you definitely ended with a bang. Michelle, I believe will have a transcription of the chat. We'll use some of our fancy AI to get the emails to try to save you your precious time in sending that valuable content out to everyone. And those of you that were on this GrowthCon, this is our gift to the industry. What we're going to do is over the next probably 3 to 4 months, plan the next one. We're going to continue to be looking for partnerships with companies. All of these people volunteered their time. This is not, nobody paid anything to be here. This isn't, we're not getting affiliate deals from, Ylopo sponsored this event as a gift to the industry. And my passion is to help real estate agents close more houses, sell more deals. And that's
Harry, what about a live GrowthCon with like 1,000 agents?
I love that idea.
Let's do it.
And it's definitely something we can talk about. But thank you for tuning in, for staying on. We're going to continue to do this. Stay tuned for the next one in a few months. Thank you, everyone that spoke and helped. Howard, Janelle, both amazing hosts. Howard, you are a permanent fixture along Janelle and I for GrowthCon. We need you on here. Questions,
Look,
especially for the first
big thanks to you and Janelle and Barry. I think this was your brainchild, right?
Was, yeah.
Amazing. Thanks and you had some resistance going in, right? And you're just like, no, we're doing this. We're going to keep doing this, helping the community. It is true. He is the nicest guy in sales. Absolutely. So thank you so much. The community loves you. Love all the information that you guys put together today. It's amazing work. And Marissa, yeah, we ended on a high note with you. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye.
See ya.